It's Clobberin. It's Clobberin time.
That it is. Clobberanimo time indeed. Hello, my good friends. Welcome to Thanksgiving Eve on Clobberin Times. Wednesday, Wildcard Wednesday night special with a topic because it is not only Thanksgiving Eve, it's another wonderful, important event of the year. It is November 23rd, my friends. And what does that mean? Well, it means a lot if you're a Doctor Who fan. 59 years to this day. One of the greatest things ever to capture the imaginations of the world in terms of fantasy, sci-fi fantasy IPs. First debuted, and I personally have been a fan of this show, Doctor Who, and happy birthday, Doctor Who, for 40 years. This earlier this year marks 40 years for me as a fan of Doctor Who, and I am happy to see you all here with us tonight. Tonight I'm going to celebrate it. Yeah, just last year I forgot exactly what I did last year. I'll probably forget next year what I've done this year, but I like to celebrate it, of course, in my own personal way. I just full disclosure up front. I, like many people, have not been happy what has happened to the show. We're not going to get into all the negatives of the show. We're celebrating the show tonight. So we're not going to get all the things that I hate about what has been happening to the show. To varying degrees, but many of us here probably agree on that we don't like what's happening to it, but that doesn't mean everybody agrees, and that's all fine and good as well. But here, we're not here to litigate any of that. We're just going to celebrate love for the show. Well, it'll be criticism too, because what I've decided to do tonight, and we'll get down to it in a second after I explain it and say some hellos and stuff, is to rank, the very first story of each Doctor is very important to introduce the Doctor, but they're also almost outlier types of episodes because you're first getting to know that Doctor, but you know that by the end of it, you're only getting the tip of the iceberg. It'll be the next episode and the episode after that and the episode after that where the character starts to flesh out more in terms of that Doctor's persona, if you will. But how good are the stories that they're in? The first story is probably tricky for the people making the show because you got to introduce the new guy. Yes, because the Doctor is a man around here. And that's not easy to do. Not easy to bring in a new Doctor after a beloved one has left the role. And I remember as a fan of course, the first Doctor I ever saw, first episode I ever saw was Genesis of the Daleks 40 years ago this year. And it was tough to let go of Tom Baker for us ugly Americans, the U.S. fans here. We love him. So let me do a quick... the only show note is tomorrow night, everyone, 10 p.m. 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. My wonderful friend Raquel and I, and hopefully Mark, if he can make it, we'll have the clubhouse, Clobby's Clubhouse, in session. And then, of course, Saturday night, we will be here for Saturday Night Star Trek. And we will we'll actually say goodbye to the third season of Star Trek Deep Space Nine in our never-ending mission to review all of the real Star Trek 66 through 05. So the season finale, I hope we'll have some of our crew members join us. We'll review the last two episodes and then have an overview of the season, top 5, bottom 5, that sort of thing. And I want to thank, of course, the great J-Man for joining me the other night. Man, J-Man, what a fantastic time I had doing this show. If you're a comics fan and you want to learn about the craziest comic you're ever going to see, we broke this one down, Raven Bowl 124, and it was a lot of fun. Great stuff. And again, of course, big shout out to our wonderful first officer, Raquel. Her book is still out there. Please, anyone, I put the link in the chat. If you've not already, go check out her wonderful science fiction short stories. So, quick hellos, then we'll get down to beeswax here. Of course, the great bronze wrencher, Eric K. What's up, buddy? Always shout out our valued wrenchers Great Bronze Rangers here is Eric K. Thank you so much. Also, the Vindicator Wrench of the North, Chris Persia. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. And of course, D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. Now let's take a look and see who else is here with us. And let's say CCC. Maddie's daddy. What's up, Steve Mitchell? Good to see you there, buddy. J-Man. All right, brother. Had a great time the other night, man. I can't wait to do it again. We will do it again. We've just barely scratched the surface of the wacky world of Bob Haney comics of the 60s and 70s. Guagnar. Hello there. Alejandro Flores Ibarra. Oh my goodness. Hello there. Oh, you've been waiting. Well, I'm flattered and honored to have you here. Thank you so much. It's good to see you. And I hope you're doing well. Brian Hepburn. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Lord Thoth, Avon lives, and long live the Legion, my brother. Great to see the great Lord Thoth here. Appreciate you, buddy. Phantom Outsider, what's up, my friend? Alejandro, exactly. Reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. Indeed, my friend. I don't even have I know we're a comics channel called Clobberin Times, and we do a lot of Star Trek. I love Doctor Who almost right up there with how much I love comics and Star Trek. I just don't know how many Doctor Who fans we have amongst our number, but I'm glad we have some. Stephen M., the great Kal-El, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Let's see here who's here with us also. Dalek 451. Hello there. He says, evening clubbing, finally a live stream with something interesting to talk about. Yeah, it took me all this time to get something interesting. I did a Doctor Who one last year. When I did, I think it was this Christmas, I counted down. I ranked, as I'm doing here, I ranked the Christmas specials, all the Doctor Who Christmas specials. But Dalek, thank you so much for being here, my friend. It's good to see you. Let me see who else is here with us. JT Kirk, what's up, buddy? Thank you for being here. All right. Just want to get the shout outs out. Could not be words for reach for further comment. Hello, my friend. It's good to see you. Dalek says, Genesis of the Daleks is the greatest Doctor Who story of all time. And it was the first one you ever watched? You're saying, yes, it was. I caught it like as a fluke. Just messing with an antenna on a snowy picture coming way away from, out of Mississippi, which was a state over from where I live. And I had already seen pictures from it here and there in Starlog, but yes. And of course, from there, we started getting the syndicated episode, not syndicated. Yeah. The syndicated episodic episodes of Tom Baker from Robot on up. And from there, I was working in a comic shop. I was running a comic shop at the time, Dalek, and just I and my friends, we just went Doctor Who nuts. Doctor Who, I don't know if any of our good UK friends know, but Doctor Who was gigantic in the US in the 80s. Hungry for the best female author to take Poe's crown. Hungry boy, what's up, bro? Good to see you, buddy. Pleasant Valley Picker, hey there. Let's see. Did we get everybody? Let me make sure we got everybody, and we'll get started. Let's see. Make sure I got everybody. I'd like to say hello to everybody that shows up because I appreciate you all being here. And a big shout out to all of our lurkers. Okay, that looks like we got everybody so far. I'll acknowledge anyone who pops in when I see them. A big shout out to all of our lurkers and anyone who's watching this later on a download or a rewatch. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Now, what are we doing tonight? Here's what we're doing. As I touched on earlier, every Doctor has to have his first episode. The one that starts him off on this path of time travel adventures. And as I said, not everyone starts with the first one. Like I said, I first saw, I think, part 1 or 2 of Genesis of the Daleks I from there got a chance to later go back and watch them. Now I've watched them all many, many times. And yes, I'm including both the original series and the revival series, which is a good continuation. But I don't know if anyone's ever addressed this in terms of ranking which ones they like the most as far as the introductory Doctor episode. Now, I'm going to be brutal to some of them. I'm going to count down from 12 down to 1. And I'll have, criticism. So just to let you know, it's just one man's opinion. You may totally disagree with things you're about to hear. And you may agree with some things here and there. It's all coming from a place of love. I love Doctor Who, but just as much as I love Star Trek or comics or whatever. Hey, Dave, good to see you, man. Nothing is above criticism, and including Doctor Who. So here we go. And again, I can't really watch all the comments, obviously, because I have to keep a flow going. So I'm not ignoring anyone. It's just that I am, since I do not see the chat, everything that goes on in it, because I want to keep a focus and keep the show rolling and stuff. But after I get done, obviously, please comment all you want while I'm going on. But after you get done, I'll try to make more of an effort to discuss my rankings and ratings to all of you, or with all of you, and see what you think. I would like to get your opinion as well. But while I'm going, I'm going to try to keep a fairly good flow of it. So, all right. So here we go with number 12 ranking. I guess I'll say worst the first. But it's in love. It's all in love, because even the ones I don't like, there's something about them, because this is Doctor Who we're talking about. And get the worst ones out of the way, then you can have more fun talking about the ones you love, I say. Hey there, 70s. What's up, buddy? So here we go with number 12. My number 12 of my favorite, ranking from worst to first of Doctor Who intro episodes is The Enemy Within. It was called, a.k.a. the Fox pilot. The 1996 Paul McGann movie. Boy, you know what? I miss the days when this was the thing. When this was the thing I bitched about most as a Doctor Who fan. Yeah, Alejandro, you knew it, huh? See, I remember the great Barry Letts and the great Terrence Dicks were invited to a BBC screening of this thing. I remember how much I hated this when I first saw it. Still kind of do. And the BBC execs kind of looked at these guys when they walked out of the screening, meaning Barry Letts, former Doctor Who producer, if you know those names, and Terrence Dicks, Doctor Who showrunner, producer, writer, one of the most prolific Doctor Who writers, and they were not happy. Now, this is not an insult to Paul McGann. Paul McGann's a great actor. His performance is fine. He's been good in a lot of those Big Finish audios and stuff. Nothing is his fault. But I remember, I'll just let you in on something. When my friends and I used to talk about Doctor Who in those sad in-between years between, this was 1996, Pleasant Valley. And between 1989, when the show's 26-year run ended, and there was that gap between this and 1996, and even building up to it, I used to joke around like this. This is a joke I used to make. Good God. And I'm a proud American and I love my country. And yet I used to make this joke. Good God, I hope Americans never get a hold of Doctor Who. Doctor Who is a British show. Now, I know that's hypocritical because many, many British people are involved with Star Trek and love Star Trek, just as many Americans love Doctor Who. But British people should be making Doctor Who. But this movie, I used to make jokes like, I know what's going to happen. It'll just be a bunch of pew-pew. It'll be a bunch of dumb chase scenes. It'll be too dark. It'll lose its British flavor. Mark D, what's up, buddy? Everything about this will be wrong, and they'll put a bunch of Americanized crap. It'll be like a shitty American show. And sure enough, they put stupid shit in there. David G. Sound, what's up? Agreed. Sort of what they did with the Red Dwarf. from get-go, I mean, the first 2 seconds, they've got the Master being put on trial on Skaro by the Daleks. I'm like, what in the hell? Then you have my beloved Sylvester McCoy, Seventh Doctor, his TARDIS. I can't get started. This episode used to piss me off so much. I've got blood pressure concerns. Again, not like how I've been pissed off since 2013 or 15 or 16 or 17, but pretty pissed off. I can't stand the ridiculous console room with bats flying through it and all that shit. I can't stand the fact that my beloved Seventh Doctor walked out into a hail of bullets. I mean, what a terrible send-off for a doctor. What a stupid way for him to die. Him to be murdered on an operating table. Maybe in a better story, it would have been not so unpalatable, but it was really annoying. All the phone, again, everything reeked of terrible American TV. And by the way, there are many wonderful American TV shows, but this one, from the stupid, lame-ass jokes of, the Frankenstein monster references in the jokes, the idiotic, overly dramatic regeneration scene where he regenerates in the morgue, and then we get stupid-ass shit. Like him being half human? I mean, what's worse? Classic Comics, good to see you. He was... Yeah. Eric Roberts is the Master? What in the hell? Holy shit. And then it's just a dumb, stupid-ass motorcycle chase. Now, again, I love the lady who plays Daphne Ashbrook's beautiful and lovely. Again, it's not her fault. It's not Paul McGann's fault. It's not Sylvester McCoy's fault. Idiots made this who apparently knew nothing about friggin' Doctor Who. Gilly Chow, Roll Tide. Yeah, Dalek, I agree with you. Compared to Whitaker's era, it's a masterpiece. I'm with you there. It's time wounds all heals, as they say. Also, dumbass shit. Well, put it to you like this. I won't spend too much more time on it. I'll simply say it's a garbage story filled with a bunch of idiotic Americanisms in it. And again, it's coming from someone who loves this country, but American-style TV was not fit for Doctor Who. And I'll simply say that Terrence Dicks was so appalled by this thing, he wrote a book back when all you really had for Doctor Who in that 16-year gap was those Doctor Who BBC and Virgin books, some of which were good, some which weren't. But he wrote a book called The Eight Doctors, which was pretty good. And in it, Terrence Dicks finds a way to explain away a bunch of the bullshit in this movie. And this movie was just, sad that they wasted a great actor like Paul McGann. Yeah, it was, Alejandro, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to save your question about asking how I would do it. Maybe answer it after I finish the list, if you don't mind. But I appreciate the question. Absolutely. Yeah, we yanked this one up. We did. So, number 12, The Enemy Within, a.k.a. the Fox pilot. Paul McGann and Sylvester McCoy both deserved better. So that's my bottom of the barrel for the Doctor Who intro episodes. Now for number 11. Number 11, Deep Breath, starring the great Peter Capaldi. An inauspicious beginning is an understatement here. I love the actor Peter Capaldi very much. I never was happy with this era because I think Stephen Moffat's writing was terrible. I hated to... hey, Wolfie, welcome, Wolfie. I hated to see this done to such a great actor, but I did not like his characterization throughout his entire run. I watched it all. I thought this wasn't even his worst episode by far, but it was inauspicious. Like I said, he just pretty much not a particularly good story, very weak, not a particularly good protagonist. I don't have to spend too much time on this one. I just thought this one was really kind of scared me after I saw it. I'm like, I don't know, man, where are we going from here? But the introductory episodes can be clunky at points, so I won't hold it against it too much. Then going forward, the show just never recovered. This episode is weak. This episode, it's not particularly entertaining. We don't get a lot of really good scenes. Usually in an introductory episode for a doctor, you get some fun moments at least. Learning about the doctor. In this, he just comes off as nasty, which would be a kind of a window into what he would be like, written like for the long time on the show. So yeah, and again, a lot of Clara. You're right, Brian. So this episode is not. It's kind of again, there are far, far worse episodes in that era. But as far as the introductory episodes, I just had to tag it toward the bottom here at number 11. Yeah. Dalek, I see what you're saying. A bit underwhelming. So, number 10. Power of the Daleks. Now, here I've got to put an asterisk by this one. As you know, most of this episode was lost. Most of this episode was lost, and later we've seen a reconstructed and an animated a version with the bits animated back into it. Wagner, I lost you, did I? But I love Patrick Troughton. None of this. Hey, Wagner, none of this is an indictment of any of the doctors. It's the stories. Remember, intro stories we're talking about here. A lot of it was missing, but it was all put back through animation and stuff. I did put an asterisk by it. Remember, I didn't put it at the bottom because it's still not as bad as those other two. Yeah. Oh, Wagner, look, I should have said at the beginning, Outlet, you're going to be shocked at some of the episodes that I don't hate like everyone else does. And I'm going to get to that. I don't hate this one. I just thought, and I went to the theater at a Fathom event to watch this episode. It was restored, and it was an event. I don't know anyone else did. But back in a few years ago when this was released, it was shown on movie theaters for a Fathom event night, and I went to it. And overall, even if they hadn't been incomplete, I didn't think it was all that good of a Dalek story either. There's a lot of long, stretched out, they tended to pad things out in this era sometimes to longer episodes than they should. But it really takes you out of it that you're having. I love animation, but this is not particularly good animation either. So there's a big asterisk by this one that my rating might be different if the regular normal filmed episodes weren't missing. It's criminal that they were lost. Absolutely. It sucks. But I can't rate the episode any higher. I don't think it's a particularly great story either. There are a lot better Dalek stories and a lot better introductory stories. But yeah. And I don't dislike it, but it's a shame that we had to see kind of a truncated version of it. I mean, it's better than nothing. At least we've got the animated version of it, so yeah. And Dalek says, Power of the Daleks is a true classic. The Daleks are arguably at their most manipulative and evil here. Indeed. Oh, now I'm getting accused of being tripwire. Gwagnar, this is no tripwire. I don't know. How high would you rate Power of the Daleks? You can tell me, and we'll look at everybody's ratings, Here we go with the bots. The bots are Doctor Who fans. How about that? Wow. All right, let's see here. Okay. Who is ready for number 9? Number 9 is An Unearthly Child. Now I know I'm going to be in trouble, but I've got to be fair here. Before you yell and scream, Unearthly, I'm judging this as all 4 parts. And I told you I was going to be brutal. I love the first part of this story so much that I almost rated it higher. Because the opening of the first part episode is really great. It's moody, it's atmospheric. We get to see I mean, we get to meet, of course, the Doctor. He's still a mystery at this point. Mega Chris, hey, good to see you. But parts 2 and 3 and 4, yeah, there are two versions, by the way, of the first episode. They'll get the first segment. But after you get past the first episode, it's a bunch of British cavemen. And I know that's what the show is supposed to be, by the way. It was a kids' educational show at the time. And I'm not dinging it for that, but it's not. Once you get past this, you have to have later episodes like the Daleks and some of the other ones to get to know the character, the main crew better, because all we get after part 1 is just them running around, locked up in a stupid cave by cavemen. And I still love it. I love the first episode and the mystery of it. It's just that this is the show took a long time to develop, and parts 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 were almost, in a sense, very little to do with what they were doing in the first episode. So, yeah. That's true. The Doctor, that's true. The Doctor does try to kill someone with a rock, and Terrence Dicks addresses that in his book, The Eight Doctors. If you can get your hands on that one. Okay. Here's going to get me in trouble here. Number 8. The Twin Dilemma. Okay. A lot of people hate this episode. I don't. People often like to say they love that Hartnell was grouchy, and they love that Peter Capaldi was grouchy. But they don't like that Colin Baker was insane in his first episode. I got to tell you, I'm weird. Now, it gets a little silly in the last couple of segments. This was a four-parter. It does get a little crazy with, Mestor and the giant gastropod and all that stuff. The reason why I enjoyed this episode was for the outrageous performance by Colin Baker, who I personally love as the Doctor. A lot of people don't love, and yes, having Perry helps. The Davison to Colin Baker regeneration scene I've always loved. Candace Androzani is one of my top 2 or 3 favorite episodes. Maybe I'm number 1. Wagner doesn't like my ratings. I knew I would get in trouble with somebody. I've been off my meds ever since I saw it. Gwag, I liked Colin Baker. I was a fan. Yes, his stories left much to be desired many times, but I loved his portrayal. One of the great things about this show is that each Doctor contrasts the last one. He tried to strangle Perry, and he was going crazy. That's a little over the top, granted, but he was going insane because of his regeneration. Is that a decision I would have made? No. And I wouldn't have kept the vulgarly colored coat, as the Master called it, after the first episode. Yeah. Yes. Dalek says, this story was pretty bad for multiple reasons, but I like Colin's last line at the end. His last line was, "I am the Doctor, whether you like it or not." I don't know. Yes, he probably, in retrospect, he shouldn't have tried to strangle Perry. I still thought his performance was kind of entertaining in this one because he went all over the place. And now I'm going to get in trouble for my next one. Number 7 is for Doctor number 7, Time in the Ronnie. Funny thing that you'll need to know about this one is that I like it, but I never realized how many people hate this episode. And I see, as someone who's was not apparently in the fandom loop, that you're supposed to hate this episode. I don't hate it. I'm a big fan of Sylvester McCoy, the first Doctor to regenerate into himself, because he plays the 6th Doctor and the 7th Doctor in the regeneration scene at the beginning. Worst cause for regeneration, says a lot. Yeah, getting bumped on the head. Yeah. It was weak. It was weak. But I'm a big McCoy fan, even though his first season was not very good. John Nathan Turner had a lot of problems. But again, first Doctor episodes are always. Here's another thing: we only have 12 to go by, and they're almost always never as good as later stories. Almost always. That's another thing we should try to look at when it comes to first Doctor, intro Doctor stories. But they're almost never. They're first of all, they have the chore of introducing a new Doctor to you. But I thought this one did an okay job. By the way, this is the last time we get to see the Ronnie, if you don't count Dimensions in Time. So I love the Ronnie. I thought this one was kind of fun to see her back. I don't know. I thought this was a fairly enjoyable episode, and McCoy's terrific in this one. Dalek is also not a big fan. But remember, you got to remember when you see this rating, Glagnar, what do we have to choose from here? Some of them are almost flip-floppable. Like, for example, I'm not really saying that this is that much better than Our Unearthly Child. I think it's more entertaining and moves faster. I'm not saying that number 7 is that much better than number 10 on this list. You got to remember that about this list. When you're getting into the in between, like getting like from 7 down to 12, there's other than 12 and 11, which are kind of down there. There's not a lot of disconnect. They're not much better. I mean, you could almost interchange. You could almost flip flop 9 and 7 or 7 and 10. So there's not a lot to choose from. Yeah, Mel was annoying. Yeah. But the Ronnie was terrific, I thought. So I thought this one was more entertaining. Number 6. Rose. With because now we're getting the episode. We're getting into that territory of episodes that I really like a lot, and it's tougher to rate them. It's easier to tough the very flawed episodes. This was a wonderful opening to the revival. If I love Christopher Eccleston. We get Autons. Yeah, I agree, Dalek. Bonnie Lanford was cute, and she was a nice lady, by the way. She just yelled, she screamed too much. But Rose, man, when this came out, look, I was not, full disclosure on this, as a Doctor Who fanatic, I was seeing some pictures in Starlog magazine or whatever, I guess, and I didn't like the way I still don't like the way Eccleston dressed. It's not doctorish. I love him, but don't get me wrong, but I don't like the way he dressed. But when this was about to come out, I was not hopeful. I was like, oh no, remakes are way worse today than they were back then, but I thought it was a remake or a reboot. Turns out it's not. It's a revival. And let me tell you something. I do have a lot of issues with things Russell T Davies did with this revival, but on the balance, I did love it from about 2005 to 2000, and even past him, to Moffat, for a while until things got really bad. And do consider it the same show in the sense that, it's a revival. Rose, I remember the pilot leaked about a week before it was to air. Yeah, the garbage bin scene was really ridiculous. I'm with you there, Gwagnar. But see, they haven't. This thing escaped onto the internet, and a buddy of mine found it. So like a week before it aired, because back then, by the way, for those who don't know, us ugly Americans, we didn't get these aired here immediately when they were aired in the UK. We had to get them online, or we wouldn't be able to watch them at all. And I watched this and just fell in love right there. 2 weeks before the next episode came out, I was watching it over and over again. So this is an extraordinarily strong, great introduction. Not only, we don't get to see a regeneration, so that kind of dings it as an intro episode. But as just the beginning of the revival, I love it. Rose is a strong story. We get Autons. What's not to love right there? You get a doctor. Yes, he's younger, but he still acts doctorish. And Dalek says, I really enjoyed this very much. After the moment Christopher Eccleston grabs Rose's hand is awesome. Says, run. And yes, so this is a thoroughly entertaining. Love it. I love this episode. Number 5. So we're at that. That's the halfway point there, folks. Number 5. Robot. Robot's probably only affected by the fact that it's a relatively weaker type of a story in terms of overall, but it's brilliant for the Tom Baker. I guess I'm prejudiced. I am partial to Tom Baker. He's my favorite doctor, though I love all the real docs. This episode is certainly nowhere in one of his greater episodes because, again, you have to introduce a new doctor. But part 1 in particular is off the hook fantastic. Ezra Goldstein, hey there. This one is just, it's fantastic. I love it. And it's just Baker shines. And the great thing about him, he becomes, you don't have to wait till later episodes to learn as much about him. He settles into his doctor very quickly. I love Robot. It is so entertaining. But it's mostly because of Tom Baker in this one. The story about the robot itself, it's okay. And 70s, I know everyone was going to bitch about my list, but I'm sorry, it's my own list. 70s would have it higher. I would have it a little bit higher. Look, 5 is high. Anything past the 6 point, we only have 12 episodes, and I loved Rose, like I said, at 6. So 6 on upper episodes I love. Yeah, Muslim Uncle. I just rewatched Robot and Baker's whole first season the other day. And it doesn't, God, I love him. So Robot is extraordinarily entertaining, mainly carried by Tom Baker. It's not one of your better Tom Baker stories, mind you. Just about very simplistic, like a plot, but that was kind of for the best. Yes, Dalek, he is instantly the doctor as soon as he suits up. And again, I love Pertwee so much that you don't want anyone to try to copy him, and they don't. That's what's so great about these doctors. Each one contrasts the last, and that's one of the wonderful things about the show. And so I love Robot. But remember, this is a review of the stories too. I love all these doctors. No, not Rose Tico, J.T. Kirk. I love all these doctors. So this is a review or a ranking of the stories that introduced them. And this, of course, and now we're into this, we're into the half of the list that I really, really enjoy. So now, number 4. The Spearhead from Space. I ranked this one a bit over Robot because I think this is a better story. I love the whole thing with the nesting consciousness, the beginning of the Autons. John Pertwee, of course, good God, love him. He's just fantastic. This is it takes, if you could say anything about this episode, it takes a bit in the first 2 to start getting the doctor on his feet. Coming after the trial and the forced regeneration of the war games the season before. Oh yeah, Pleasant Valley. I loved Eccleston. Like I say, and Pleasant Valley says he's glad Eccleston ranked high. Believe me, no, this is not a ranking of any doctor, though. This is a ranking of the story that introduced them. Let me be clear on that. I love all of these doctors. This is a ranking of how entertaining was the story that introduced them, and how good a job did it do of introducing that doctor to us, is one of my basic criteria. So Spearhead from Space, we get to see the Brigadier now. Well, formerly Colonel Lethbridge Stewart, now the Brigadier. We get to learn more about unit being established. We get Liz Shaw, who was a wonderful companion. We get the Autons, and we get to see Jean Pertwee for his first time, absolutely nailing it and being fantastic. And like I said, the story took a little while for his doctor to get on his feet. Once he does, it's fantastic. I just, good God, love John Pertwee. I love this episode. Let's see here. So, who's ready for number 3? I might get in trouble for number 3. I don't know, though. We'll see. Number 3. is the Christmas Invasion. That's right. Yeah, I got you. Again, what a wonderful, entertaining, wall to wall, except for like a little bit of gloominess at the end with what happens with what's his face and with the doctor and prime minister. This episode is sheer joy. It has a slight bit where it kind of drags you a little bit and wondering if the doctor takes a while to get on his feet, but David Tennant is just absolutely terrific. This episode is so extraordinary. Look, this one in number 2, I kept flip-flopping on. But this could easily be, for if anyone wonders, could easily be at number 2. But I kind of flip-flop because a little more sentimentality for the number 2 episode. But it doesn't matter. These episodes are so close. I love them all equally. This episode is fantastic. Because you're coming into this, those of us who did not know who David Tennant was, we're kind of a little annoyed that we were losing Christopher Eccleston so early. I mean, we wanted him to have a little bit more. We didn't really know. I didn't know who David Tennant was. So here you go. Like, it was kind of it's one thing when a doctor's been around 3 years at minimum, and then they leave, you go, well, we're used to it. He's going after 1 year, and you're like, good God, man, is this what we're going to be putting up with? So along comes this guy who look, some people do prefer Eccleston to him. I like Eccleston, love Eccleston, but I think David Tennant this guy came along and became, hello, Lemon Pie. He came along and he became as big as Tom Baker in this role. Now, again, I love Tom Baker the most, but as far as being gigantic in the role, before him, Tom Baker was the king in terms of the most popular. Now, that doesn't mean he has to be your favorite doctor. He's not everyone's favorite doctor. He's my favorite doctor. But David Tennant, you know what he means. He came along and halfway through this episode, or definitely it took him to the end to really get going. This episode, this is another reason why it's at number 3. This episode makes you wait really to the end to really get to know the doctor. This episode is, now I'm convinced at why I put it at number 3 again. This episode is terrific and entertaining, but we really only get to see Doctor in the last couple of minutes, which kind of dings it down to 3, even though it's extraordinarily entertaining as an episode. That's kind of knocks it back a little bit for me. But Tennant is just magnificent in it, and it's just a beautiful episode. I watch it every year at Christmas. Never get tired of it. This is just not just a great intro episode. It's one of the all-time great Doctor Who episodes, in my opinion. And again, like I say, if there's anything, it did kind of have me on edge going, this episode is we're not getting enough Doctor in this episode. If the episode commits one sin, it's that. But by the time we do get to see him, he just makes up for it. If that makes any sense. So are we ready for number 2? Who's ready for number 2? Ooh, tell me. Let me know if you guys are ready. All right. I can't get in any more trouble than I've already got. I knew I was going to get in trouble with this list, but I'll hang tough. Number 2 is Castra Vulva. This is controversial, but this episode is, coming after Tom Baker is just, how do you do that? When I first saw this episode, 1983 or whatever it was, I finally saw it. Over in the States, we got it later than you all did. Hello, Simply Steve. I love this episode, especially the first 2 parts where Peter Davison is going through some of the other doctors. It's a very I don't know. This is a great auspicious start for a doctor. I have this one high up because I've watched it so many times. You got great primary Anthony Ainley as the master. You get just a Hungry Boy hates it. Sorry, you can't please everybody, and it's a good thing I don't like pleasing anybody. I just adore this episode because I love Peter Davison. I thought coming in after Tom Baker, that's just too much. Yeah, I know Adric's in it. I hate Adric too. Hey, I was running a comic shop at the time, and when Earthshock finally aired here, I had a Death of Adric party. Ezra likes Robot better. I love Robot. Let me tell you something. Like I said, I could probably switch this with Robot. It's close. But there was only something about this story that I really loved. It was pretty crazy out there. And I don't even disagree with my friend Dalek. He says the first 2 episodes are good, but the rest is a bit silly. Well, like I did say, it's a sentimental thing. But I do love this episode. And by the way, I was between this one and this one, and I don't know. Robot's kind of a simple story. Spearhead from Space, Christmas Invasion, in this one, it was tough to choose. But since I'm ranking them, you make that decision. So, all right. Now I'm really going to get in trouble for number 1. Who's ready for number 1? Remember Dr. Demento when they would play that song? It's time for number 1. This is it. There we go. Number 1. Sorry. Anyone remember that? So, let's go for number 1. Remember, the process of elimination, Alondra. Obviously, no brainer. The 11th hour. This episode for me even transcends Doctor Who itself. You might like other doctors better. You might like other stories better. This makes my top 5 in just normal Doctor Who stories of all time. This story is, in my opinion, a masterpiece in science fiction, fantasy, and fairy tale. This one kind of crosses, as Doctor Who often does, into fairy tale. A fanciful story, and Dalek says it sucked. I cannot believe how wrong you could be there, Mr. Dalek, but that's cool. This story is the best by far. It's one of the greatest stories, and it convinced me, with David Tennant leaving, I'm like, well, I know he had to go, but I see these pictures of this Matt Smith kid. And look, I'm old, everybody, so of course he's a kid compared to me. And he was 26 years old at the time. But I had to be convinced that I'm going to see this guy can this kid be the Doctor? Could this kid be my 1,000-plus-year-old Time Lord? Yes, I hated it when Russell T Davies continued to insist on having the Tennant Doctor saying that he's 900 years old when he knows it was well over 1,000. Russell T Davies did a lot of shit I didn't like. I'm going to be honest with you, dudes. I'll be honest, I don't, as much as I loved a lot of the show still, I didn't like that whole last son of Gallifrey, last son of Krypton crap that he pulled. I hated that stuff. The Time War stuff, hated it, to be honest with you. I had to put up with it, and I still liked the show, but I didn't like it. Robot was much better. Ezra, Robot's a very simple story. Robot's an okay introductory. This one transcends introducing a Doctor. It does that, and at the same time creates a wonderful, brilliant fairy tale fantasy about a child, being swept away with a mad adventure with a magic box who can go anywhere and do anything. The fairy tale elements, the fantasy elements, the wonder, the way this thing is shot, the beautiful music by Murray Gold, everything about this episode it's a masterpiece in my opinion. I'm redeemed by Gwagnar. Thank you. Everyone, you could if you want to put your rankings or whatever in or your top 5 or whatever in here, I'll read them all out. I'll star them and I'll read them if you want to do that. I'll be interested in knowing your favorites. But remember, this ranking is my own personal favorite list, and in fact, I don't think there's an episode on this list that comes even close to this one just as an episode. I mean, I love this episode that much. I've watched it over and over again. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good. It does everything. Well, could not be reached for further comment. Thank you for the no judgment. I appreciate that. I get a lot of I don't mind people judging me, though. Your Muslim uncle, good to see you there, man. It's all about the really awesome redhead. Well, she is awesome now. I love her. I love Karen Gillan. Alejandro said, can't say anything as I haven't seen all the debut episodes. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I got you. But you could still say what you want, though. In fact, you said earlier, Alejandro said, how would you have done the TV movie if you were director and writer producer? Huh. I would have found a good way. I would have tried to get Sophie Allred back. I would have found a good way to regenerate him. But if I couldn't get her back, I would have probably hired somebody to play Bernice Summerfield from the books. Had him with a companion and just do a normal regeneration. Do a normal regeneration story. You could add budget if you want, but Dalek hated Amy. Uh-oh. Dalek 451 hated Amy. Oh, I know, Hungry Boy. Don't worry, I know, bud. I don't mind being judged. She was nothing but a whiny, selfish brat, and everything was always about her. I can't really argue with it, but then so was Rose, really. I mean, every time he runs around with a kid, it kind of bothers me. D-Bud, police uniform. Yeah, oh yeah. But I can't agree on that. I love Amy. I love Karen Gillan. But I mean, Amy, I don't know. After a while, she did kind of get on my nerves a little bit, but not as bad as Clara did. And again, it's not really the actress. Clara got bad, but I didn't even think Clara was bad at first. Experiment from Space is best. I have Spearhead from Space at number 4. But I love Spearhead from Space. Remember, what I said again, everybody, is if it's in my top 6, you know I really, really like to love it. I love it or like it, at least. I mean, I like it to the love it category. Worst and best companions. Boy, that would take some doing there. Woo. Innocence is the true universal resource, says, It's a fair cult. Sibley Steve's hated Turlough. Yeah, I did too. Oh, look, if we talk about companions, we're going to have a lot of hate going on. Let's be honest. Bill Potts is the worst companion, says Mega Chris. Hello, Mega Chris, by the way. And if I didn't say hello to you before, good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Bill Potts. Yeah, Bill Potts. Ugh. I have nothing against the actress, but they just didn't write her very well. But they didn't write anything well at the show at that point. Moffat was horrible. Later on, anyway. So, all right. So, see, the reason why I don't necessarily agree with you there about Rose Dalek is because she might not be as annoying as Amy, but I hated all that puppy love stuff. Look, I love Martha, but same deal. Rose and Martha and their stupid puppy love stuff really hurt the show for me, really aggravated me. Amy went after him at first, and then when we find out she's with, she's with Rory, that at least put a stop to that crap. So other than her initially trying to jump the doctor, when the thing she didn't realize is I love the scene. I love the bit in 11th Hour. When he finds out about her being a kissogram, he goes, "You were a little girl 5 minutes ago." He said, "You're worse than my aunt." He said, "I'm the doctor. I'm worse than everybody's aunt." And that's not how I'm introducing myself, by the way. I love that because if you're old, you got to understand something. Us guys, we like the ladies. But if there's somebody I knew as a very young child, and then later I see her in later life, I don't care if she's a good-looking woman. I'm still seeing that child through my eyes because I knew that person. And that's what the doctor's doing here. He knew her as a child 5 minutes ago. It doesn't work unless you're a sicko. So, yes, looking at hot young chicks, sure, I'm there. If it's somebody I knew as a child, though, when they grew up, I just can't do it. Not me. Maybe you can, and I'm not going to, well, I might judge you a little, but hey. But that was basically what was going on with the doctor, and that was a good thing. I got to hand Moffat the credit for getting rid of the puppy love chasing the doctor around crap. A sicko, you mean Gatwa? I don't know. Is he a sicko? I don't know. Alejandro, is Gatwa a sicko? I don't know. I don't know much about him. So I'm not sure how, Alejandro, I'm not sure how I would have done that TV movie. But I definitely would have done some things differently. First of all, I could easily tell you what I would not do, and that's 90% of what they did in that TV movie. I would not do stupid motorcycle chases, dumbass crap about the they had the Eye of Harmony in the TARDIS, which was stupid. The Eye of Harmony is on Gallifrey. They had the Doctor taking the Master's stupid remains, his blobby remains, to Gallifrey. Now, Terrence Dicks in the book The Eight Doctors at least explained how that can happen. LT says, that is what makes the Doctor's relationships with young companions so perfect. We see the universe different from innocent eyes. We are jaded and old. They see things differently. They see it better. Yes. Yes, they made 96 movie a Y2K story. Yeah. So I'll do a recap now of the list. I'm gonna recap the list one more time here for the broadcast and everything. And number 12, The Enemy Within, the Fox pilot with Paul McGann, great doctor, or could have been, but a terrible, unbelievably bad story, Americanized, and this is coming from a proud American who loves his country, who says that America doesn't need to be making Doctor Who. Not then, not now, not ever. And I'm talking to you, Disney. Number 11, Deep Breath. Off the rails, great actor, wasted and then about to go on to many more years of wasting a great actor on a bad show. Thank you, Stephen Moffat. Go suck it. Number 10, Power of the Daleks. Asterisk by this because we didn't get to see a completed version. No, we had to see it fixed in animation and connected and all that stuff. At least we get the gist of the story. But quite frankly, this story does have draggy bits. It probably was padded out too much. Again, I don't hate it or anything. The only two episodes I really hated are the two we just talked about. This one I don't hate, and it probably would rate higher if it wasn't, for it being incomplete. So BBC, rot in hell for what you did to these episodes, especially the Troughton, all the missing Troughton episodes. Number 9, An Unearthly Child. Great opening part, segment 1, but I'm sorry, it's considered to be a 4-parter, even though they had different titles on the other parts. And the other 4-parters are just the crew locked in a cave with a bunch of British cavemen, and it sucks. The first part's great. Later it sucks, and it took a lot of dragging out of other episodes for them to fully flesh out the characters the way we wanted them to be, and they did that over time. But this whole story as a whole is not that good, in my opinion. A lot of introductory stories are flawed, including the next one, The Twin Dilemma. I can't disagree that they go a little bit over the top by having the Doctor try to strangle Perry. Again, John Nathan Turner did a lot of stupid shit. Colin Baker's performance I still love. It has some amusing bits all the way through. Again, mainly just for Colin going crazy a couple of times, and we get to see Perry, folks. I love Perry. But yes, a very flawed, messed up episode. Number 7, Dr. Seven makes his appearance. His first appearance in Time and the Ronnie, the great Sylvester McCoy. A pretty decent introductory episode of the character, even though he has to regenerate into himself, and a kind of a lame excuse for a regeneration. Mel can be a bit annoying. Nevertheless, I thought it was fairly okay story. It moves, it's entertaining, and mainly, like a lot of introductory stories, elevated by the performance of its new Doctor. So Sylvester McCoy is terrific in a very a questionable story that's messed up, but I don't hate as much as legendarily. This episode is despised. Not by me, but then again, I just missed that memo that I was supposed to hate it. So I don't hate it. I enjoy elements of it. But it's, again, just it introduced a new Doctor, and believe me, his episodes for that season after that are way worse, in my opinion. If you don't check Delta and the Bannerman and Paradise Towers, if you question that. Number 6, Rose. Now we're into the episodes that I really, really like. I love Rose. Great introduction to the revival era of Doctor Who. Christopher Eccleston is terrific. We get to see the return of the Autons. It's just hugely entertaining. It's not encumbered by being too long or anything like that. It is a lovely and wonderful start. We don't get a regeneration scene, so that's probably why it rates a little bit lower. But again, Rose is a highly entertaining episode. Number 5, Robot. Absolutely, completely and utterly carried by the magnificence of Tom Baker, my favorite Doctor. The episode shines in every single way, but mainly because of him, story-wise. And remember, this is kind of what story really matters here. It's elevated by Baker, certainly. It's elevated by, getting the introduction of a great character like a beloved character like Harry Sullivan. We get more Brigadier. Unfortunately, we know we're going to lose Unit soon. But we get great Doctor here in a fairly simplistic story. Still entertaining overall, especially the first episode. Segment 1 of this 4-parter is one of the greatest Doctor Who ever, just for being introduced to a Doctor. And this is probably the best transition into the character I've ever seen in terms of right there off the bat, boom, he's the Doctor. We get to know him well, and he gets involved in the story, which is slightly thin. That's why it's at 5. Number 4. The Spearhead from Space, the great John Pertwee debuts. The only thing that has this episode a little bit lower is it does take a little while for him to get him on his feet. It takes by the end of episode 2, kind of. Nevertheless, it's a great 4-parter. We get the introduction of the Nestines, aka the Autons, startings of Unit, the fleshing out of Unit. We get Liz Shaw, a lovely companion, some nice Brigadier moments with the Doctor, a good, excellent, creepy science fiction story. Again, people say all the way down at 4. There's nothing all the way down about it. I love this episode. And again, it's just that there are Pertwee episodes that are even better, but this is a nice start. Once he gets going, love John Pertwee. Number 3, The Christmas Invasion. Brilliant, fantastic story. Just feel good stuff all the way through. What a wonderful Christmas story. It had the opening shock of trying to continue a series where a Doctor got cut short because, of course, Eccleston leaves the role. I wasn't sure at first that he's leaving. I'm like, wow, already the Doctors are going to not stay that long. And then we get a guy like David Tennant. Now, this episode may be encumbered slightly by the fact that the Doctor's off his feet for most of it. We really only get Prime Doctor to get to know our Doctor toward the end of the episode. For me, that is why it's a little bit below the number 2. Still terrific, still entertaining. Nevertheless, David Tennant, as fabulous as he is in the role, we really don't get a lot of Doctor. We don't really get a lot of Tennant, and so that kind of hurts it for me a little bit. Only in the sense that even while I'm watching it and having a good time, I'm going, man, will you get out of bed already? And they leave it to this last couple of minutes where he finally pops out of the TARDIS. When he does, you get the bang for your buck, but it's a long wait, and it can wear on me a little bit sometimes with that, or did. Nevertheless, it's all the way up at number 3 because it's highly entertaining. Number 2, bad. This is a controversial one, but Castrovalva doesn't do what Christmas Invasion does. This gives you Doctor almost immediately once he gets into the TARDIS. A lot of great Doctor finding himself stuff in the first part, which is great. Second part, not quite, a little bit, but not quite as much. But we get some great Anthony Ainley as the Master, some good stuff with the companions, and then a kind of a lagging third part. But the fourth part picks it up with some more the Doctor getting back into his groove. And as a whole, it's a really good A highly imaginative story that's entertaining, introducing a new doctor, and of course, number one, an episode that transitions into fairy tale. I'll use that word to get in trouble. Transitions. I'll put it to you like this: then it transcends just Doctor Who, just science fantasy, becomes magnificent fairy tale. This episode is a masterpiece, one of the greatest things ever done on Doctor Who, in my opinion. It is sheer joy to behold from beginning to end with, I can't think of a flaw. So I love it, love it, love it. And this episode makes me feel good every time I watch it. I've watched it a gazillion times. And yes, D. Bud Martin, Harry Sullivan is an imbecile. Yes. So that is, my friends, a recapping of my ranking of the Doctor Who intro episodes. And as I've said, if anyone would like to let me know, you don't have to, I'm just saying, if you would like to let me know which episodes of these are your favorite, and you don't even have to do that. You could talk about anything Doctor Who you want, because this is Wild Card Wednesday night, after all. And we've talked about our main subject matter. J-Man says, I think 11th Hour is the best. Best, and after that, I can't choose. Spearhead is cool, but Pertwee is my favorite, so that's why. Well, love him. Love that crack in the wall, yeah. So that was a recap of my rankings, and yeah, just love having you all here with us. I'll tell you this, I'll ask you all, because this is Doctor Who Day, did anyone do anything to celebrate Doctor Who, aside from us hanging out here talking about Doctor Who? In the past day or past week, have you watched, gone back and watched any Doctor Who? I'll just tell you that I have. Last night I watched the stupid Fox pilot again, just to torture myself again, I guess. And I thought maybe I'll be nicer to it, but no, it really aggravates me. It pisses me off. If we just broke that thing down, maybe we will one day. It pisses me off from beginning to end. Thank you, 70s. Good to see you. It pisses me off from beginning to end, that thing. But this week I've been watching, I don't know how I kind of just watched Matt Smith's entire first season. Says, J-Man, cool. I did it not too long ago as well. Alejandro says, I'm going to watch the Five Doctors with my dad Friday night. I love the Five Doctors, Alejandro. That's one. I mean, when we first got that aired here, I think 1983-ish, in the States, I recorded that sucker, and the first night I must have watched it 2 or 3 times. And that first week on my VHS, I must have watched that tape over and over and over again. It's the Five Doctors, and we should talk about it one time. We should talk about it. It's the most crazy, outrageous, bonkers story you're ever going to see, and it's so entertaining you just don't care, because it's so much fun. I mean, I can't even imagine what would have happened if Tom Baker had actually been in it, but even without him, it is so. Oh, we have new members? I didn't know we had new members, Eric. Do we really? I did not know that. But the Five Doctors is just so marvelous and so entertaining. I just adore it, man. I just adore it. It's sheer Doctor Who joy. And I mean, look, there are better stories, because the story really, when you boil it down to certain elements of the story, it makes no sense. And when you think about them, you go, ugh. But you know what? Who cares? It's just so much fun. And Doctor Who should do that. Doctor Who should be fun. Oh, Eric. Okay. Eric just gifted. Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate that. J-Man, have a good night, buddy. Thanks for being here. Wagner watched The Curse of the Fatal Death. I love that. You know what? I got to track that down. I haven't watched that in a long time. That's fantastic. Last week I watched Colin Baker's first few, says J-Man. It's always Doctor Who at my place, he says. Let's see. I missed a couple of them. Dalek said, I watched the first Doctor story, Edge of Destruction, last night. Odd story about the TARDIS breaking down and everyone going nuts. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. You know, You know, Dalek, it's been ages since I've watched that. Maybe I'll go back and watch that one this week. Good call. It's been ages since I've watched that one. Five Doctors was the first anything of Doctor Who I saw, says Alejandro. Checked out the DVD from the library before I officially became a fan. Oh, cool. Nice. Could not be reached for comment, says. I think my favorite companion has to be K9. Well, affirmative, Master. K9 is the greatest of all the companions, Master. Let's see here. And yes, look, let's just have a Doctor Who conversation here, folks. I love the Three Doctors. Omega is awesome, says Brian Hepburn. Three Doctors is one of the many series I purchased from iTunes, says your Muslim uncle. I love the Three Doctors. Again, another one I've watched like 10 billion times. Let's see. Retro Blasting. What's up, buddy? Nobody beats K9 and Company. Ducks. Sorry, bro. Sorry. Sarah Jane forever. Good to see you, Retro Blasting. I love K9 and Company. Hey, love it. Well, I love K9 anyway. Would it have been nice if that had been we'd gotten a series out of that? Retro, that would have been cool to see Sarah get that series. Man. Absolutely, LT. You should. Love it. By the way, Retro Blasting, dude, we should talk Doctor Who again sometime, bro. Come hang with me. Well, not just Doctor Who. We should talk anything. Yeah. Oh, really? BritBox has K9 and Company on there? Oh, cool. I didn't realize that was on there. Oh, yeah, maybe I did. I think I saw it recently. That's that. How about that thing? K9. Alejandro says, did you ever check the Australian K9 series, Clobberin Times? I did. I watched part of the first episode and didn't really. Yeah, I don't like what they did with the character K9. So I didn't watch much past the first episode, Alejandro. That was many years ago. Retroblastic says the ratings for that special were actually really good. It's just bad timing. BBC changed their mind. Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't that Michael Grade shenanigans? Or was it? Michael Grade was a piece of garbage. He's the worst villain in Doctor Who history. That bag of garbage. Michael Grade was a bag of garbage. You know what I mean? Stream Bean. I think you all know. Let's see here. Oh, I'm typing something here. Sending out an invite. But, well, here we are, Halloween Eve. Halloween, listen to me. I get my holidays mixed up. Thanksgiving Eve, damn it. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Are you heading out, LT? Well, LT, Avon lives and long live the Legion, dude. Scogly's Joe Toon. Good to see you. Welcome. Well, welcome, Scogly. Let's see. Mega Chris says, do you think they'll ever tell the story of the Valeyard? He was supposed to be the Doctor in between the 12th and final incarnation. No, I don't think they'll ever. Certainly not satisfactorily. Scogly, oh, you were over. Oh, over. Yeah, that's true. Our good buddy Doomcock's probably still running with the pop culture breakdown. Take care. LT, have a great night and say hello to Lady Thoth for us, my friend. But yes, I'll shout out to the great Doomcock. Let's see here. Wagner says, Remember how fantastic the 50th anniversary was? There was so many Doctor Who related things. Oh my God, yes. Did anyone watch Adventure in Space and Time? Ironcaster, what's up? Happy Thanksgiving Eve from me and the family. Like, yeah, well, good to see you, buddy. I can't stand doctors between doctors, says Retro Blasting. That's right. Retro Blasting is not a fan of the War Doctor concept. Yeah. I got to tell you, I'm torn in some ways on that, Michael, because on the one hand, I absolutely agree with you. Stephen Moffat's a jackass for this reason. Well, he's a jackass for a lot of reasons, but let's just stick with the 50th anniversary, which I still do love. And, John Hurt was terrific as the War Doctor, but he could have easily just had that role filled by Paul McGann. And you didn't even have to call him then you wouldn't have to call him the War anything. You wouldn't have had to call him the War Doctor at all. But to be perfectly honest with you, I don't like the whole Time War thing anyway. I had to, because I was watching the show, I put up with it. I hate the whole Last Son of Krypton thing. Yeah, I mean, Paul McGann would have killed in that thing. Would have been great. Now, again, John Hurt was great. I mean, they did what they did, and I still love the show. I still love the episode. And I thought, yeah, I mean, look, Dalek, I love John Hurt. Multiple things can be true at the same time. My preference is just use McGann. But they don't give me a vote, so I still love I love the Day of the Doctor. I've watched it so many times. Whatever flaws there may be, and that day when I'm sitting there in 2013 watching the worldwide live cast was as a Doctor Who fan 9 years ago today, that was still one of the as a Doctor Who fan of this year marks 40 years that I've been a Doctor Who fan, and this is now 9 years after that event of the 50th of sitting there with my son and I watching Day of the Doctor at that worldwide live simulcast at 2:30 in the afternoon, my time, I think it was, and on that Saturday, and being blown away. So much so, I didn't really give me any time to worry about a War Doctor or any stuff like that. I didn't care. I got to admit, doesn't mean, later, of course, you get more critical in retrospect a lot of times in hindsight, but at the time I didn't care. I just loved everything about it. I really enjoyed the episode. I did not approve of the Time War crap. I wish they never had the Time War crap. I wish they'd in my opinion, it was not a good idea. It added unnecessary drama, but we live in a time of drama, even in 2005. We're talking about a generation that, that is very melodramatic and that is very emotional. And, whereas we can't just have the Doctor be the pragmatic, ever indefatigable Time Lord who is on the run from his own people, to what I just hate the Last Son of Krypton crap that they pulled on Doctor Who. But I sacrificed that, put up with it, and still enjoyed the show. Matthew Pounder. And there were still a lot of great episodes of modern or revival Who. Sometimes you take the wheat with the chaff. You put up with what you put up with. And at the end, yes, Dalek, look, at the end of that one, it's funny. I'd read that all the Doctors were going to make some kind of appearance, but I'd totally forgotten. At the end, I've told this story before. At the end of the episode, when we're getting towards seeing the Curator, I had forgotten that we were supposed to be seeing Tom Baker. Welcome, Mark D with a C.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Good to see you, man. So I'd forgotten that Tom Baker was going to be in the episode, so I just thought it was over. I wasn't even thinking about it at that point. And then, you hear that voice when Matt Smith is saying, "I could be the curator of this place. I could be the great curator." And then you hear, "I really think you might." You hear that voice coming from my son and I just jumped out of our chairs like, "Oh my God, I forgot.
That's a great moment. Yeah.
Oh, that voice. And then finally, when we see him, we're losing it like children. I mean, I can't lie to you, folks. I might have got a little misty.
Oh,
Tom,
come on.
I love
You're
Tom
going
Baker.
soft on me?
I think the ever loving blue eyed thing, can be a little emotional sometimes. I think I kind of lost it right there. I was like, wow. And then of course you get the full, and as the scene goes on, it's just so terrific to see Tom Baker. Who knows? I really think you might. I mean, just those words off screen were like, oh my God. So yeah, that voice, that face, that scene.
No, we all love Tom
And
Baker.
then
That's how most of us started with
well, yeah,
Doctor Who.
many of us. But then and then the thing is, you get that. Then he walks out there, and you hear the voiceover by Matt Smith, and about how maybe I need to go look for Gallifrey and all this stuff. And then he walks out there, and we see all the doctors, and we end with that music. I mean, it was just beautiful, brilliant stuff, and I thought, man, it felt like a new beginning. We're going to get that because, we got a peek at the 13th Doctor at the end of that story when we hear, when we see the eyes of Peter Capaldi with the other doctors saying, no, sir, all 13. So we think, wow, that's going to be cool because we already knew about Peter Capaldi and we're all excited he's going to be so good. And then we get Time of the Doctor, which was kind of a drag and just, wow, so many things wrong with it, in my opinion. And after that, to go just straight down the tubes, man, it was like it's almost the show ended at 50.
Yeah, it's I made a joke earlier. Yeah, no lucky number 13. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, Dalek. It was very touching. And here's we have something as always. He brings the toys. We've got some Tom Baker Doctor Who goodness here to show you here from Mark. What you got there?
That's my
I would love to get
Christmas ornament.
That's the Doctor Who Christmas ornament, the Tom Baker right there?
Tom Baker, yep. So I'm going to be away from...
No, I got you. I need a Tom Baker figure. Is that out now?
Well, let me pull the mic out.
2021. But that's expensive
2021.
now.
Yep.
That is fantastic.
I think it's still you can still find it, I'm sure. But
yeah, but how much?
Well,
probably not cheap.
Know.
Would you like a jelly baby?
That wouldn't be that wouldn't be that bad, I don't think.
Yes, Alejandro, would you like a jelly baby? We have a store that sells jelly babies around here, and at least sometimes. And I love jelly babies. I want some right now. I should have went and got some jelly babies today. But that's beautiful. That's fantastic, dude.
I think I got this one on Amazon. But the great way to get a ton of Hallmark ornaments, which I've shown everyone. I got to get my tree up this year.
I should have got that Doctor Who figure. It looks just like a regular Doctor Who figure.
Yeah, I mean, you get some of these Hallmarks I leave out all year. It's like, why put them away? I mean, they're so well done. Other than the, it
looks like a Doctor Who figure that they stuck a hook on his head.
The hook on that, I was gonna say, yeah, if you could take the hook out or unscrew and screw the hook back, and I think they're glued though.
Does it move though, or no?
No, there's no articulation.
That's fine. That's still fantastic though.
Yeah, no, it's a great likeness. So this is going on the tree for the
jelly
year.
babies.
Does it say? Sometimes it gives you the year or the sculptor on the bottom on the.
Well, Mega Chris, let me ask you. And say you need to try Maynard's jelly babies. Would that be available in the States? Are we talking about over in the good old UK? What's the deal there? Maynard's jelly babies. I don't know them by brand. So, but yeah, that's cool. What's that other little TARDIS thing you got there?
That was actually an old cell phone gizmo, so you could keep it on your keychain. And I think it was for
okay.
It was for the old CDHM networks. So when you get a call, the TARDIS would light up.
It's got one of the revival
frequency
logos on it. What would it do?
Yes.
Oh,
it would actually light up and spin.
Nice.
So it's a little teeny. It would go on your like keychain, which I never put on my keychain. But you try. It doesn't work with the new cell phones, but I guess with the old.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe there's a battery in there too.
That's
I can't remember.
But I like it.
Cool little. The TARDIS can change size, right?
Well, what's this little goofball looking thing you got here with Tom Baker's? That's obviously from Tom Baker's last season. That scarf. That scarf is from it calls to mind Legopolis and such. But yeah.
I think this was the sci-fi series. What the heck was this? Who made these? They're not Pops. I'm trying to remember.
Retro Blasting, don't worry about that, dude. No, man, you don't have to do that, buddy. I appreciate you. It's because of you that I have my own. I have the only Doctor Who figure I have is because of you, buddy. But thank you. I'll snag you one of the recent Fourth Doctor robot sets. They have those? Whoa. We need to write this one. No, dude. Look, never feel like you have to do that, buddy, but thank you. You're too kind, man. What a great friend, man. You're the man. Appreciate that.
It's very nice to offer. Yep. These are Titans. I'm trying to remember the name of the line.
Tiny Titans or something?
Tiny Titans, I think. Yeah. And then they had a sci-fi series. Did some really fun. They're not Funko Pops.
In the Pirate Planet, they called licorice all sorts of jelly babies. Blasphemy. I love the Pirate Planet, by the way. Great episode. Oh, why is that Doctor figure in the box? What is wrong with you?
It's because he hangs on my wall behind me, so I should have bought two.
All right. I'm not going to play it because it's a Doctor, but I was almost played. God damn it, Mark.
Yeah, so this is Pyramid of Mars. I've shown
Pyramids of Mars. I'm going to go watch that tonight. I love Pyramid. Yeah. Pyramids of Mars is a top fiver for me.
Yeah, so you can't go wrong with this one. Who made these? These were
Big Chief
Underground Toys. Yeah.
Oh, not Big Chief.
Yeah, Underground Toys there. Yeah.
Oh, Underground.
So I've had this one for a while. I mean, there's really no Doctor Who stuff in stores now. When you go, or went to Comic-Con, it was such almost no Doctor Who stuff. It was kind of depressing. It was a little bit of the classic stuff, but really not a lot.
That's a great figure, though. Good Lord.
It is well done. Yeah, it's very well
I
done.
love, man, Pyramids of Mars is fantastic. God,
yeah, so they did some nice stuff.
So when did you first start? When did you first start seeing Doctor Who?
Well, my buddy Rob, who I've mentioned, my good buddy, got me into Doctor Who, and it was on PBS.
Underground is the U.S. distributor for character options. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Yep. So yeah, it was PBS Channel 13, New York City, was where I first started catching Doctor Who. My buddy Rob, Rob would watch it, and then his dad was a sci-fi nut, and so he was like, he had the first Netflix at his house, so he was the guy with the lead engineer on the UPS pad, the pad device. So he did very well at UPS, and he spent a lot of money on buying VHS tapes. So, back in the 80s, to have VHS tapes of movies and TV shows and all of Doctor Who, those tapes weren't cheap. I mean, when you bought them back.
No, I used to buy them back then.
Yeah, so like movies were $80 when they first came out, and then later you could get the TV shows like Star Trek. I think they were like $30 each or $30.
VHSs were not cheap. You're right.
No. So so he had everything. He had laser discs and Betamax, and so he, that's where we could start watching. I'm like, what do you mean there are other doctors? Are you sure? You're lying. There's no other doctors. Tom Baker's the doctor.
It's only Tom Baker.
Only Tom Baker. What are you talking
still
about?
Think that.
Yeah, and then when he said, then when we found out he was going to leave the show and he's going to be, you were BSing me all along, weren't you? No, for real. It's going to be a new actor, a new doctor. So that was my introduction. But it was tough to watch though.
Look, dude, there were people who were hostile to Peter Davison before he showed. I mean, Americans who didn't understand. Like, look, obviously, in the UK, they've been used to the show at that point for a good, almost 20 years, like 15 years, whatever. When by the time Tom Baker was leaving, they were used to it. He was the Fourth Doctor. Over here, even though some geeks we understood, because of the Target novelizations and Doctor Who mags and such, we heard there were previous Doctors eventually by reading about it. We didn't experience a Doctor Who change. So I was like, my thing was, wow, I want to see what the new guy's like. That's such a great concept. I was reading the Target novelizations and reading about, that was the way I was getting to read Hartnell stories and Troughton stories and even Pertwee stories, because it's all we had was, and occasionally we get a really bad PAL converted copy of a Pertwee story here and there. But for the most part, it was kind of a new deal to us. So people who weren't even getting to do that, who just watched Tom Baker over and over again on their local PBS affiliate, they didn't know. A lot of them didn't know, and I saw there was a a documentary that ran around that was done like we're in the early 80s after Davison had taken over. Where somebody went around to Doctor Who cons in America, and they were interviewing people, a lot of different fans who were fans. They were huge fans of the show. They just started going to cons, and they were all like, I don't know, man. This guy's like, there were women, dude. There were women saying, I'm not being fair to him. I only seen one, but he just doesn't. He's not Tom Baker. You're getting that from fans, not Tom Baker. And he's just, I don't know. And everyone, yeah, but he's Tristan from All Creatures Great and Small, isn't it? And that was a lot of people were saying, yes, it's Tristan. He can't be the Doctor. What? He's Tristan from All Creatures Great and Small. And so as time went on, I can't tell you how many people I've met over the years. I'm talking into the 90s, even into the early 2000s, when they would say something, when Doctor Who would come up, they go, oh, yeah, the guy with the scarf and the curly hair. Yeah. My dad, and even people who knew it a little bit better would say, oh, yeah, my dad, man, we would watch it with my dad. He said he won't watch anybody but Tom Baker. I can't make him watch any of the other doctors.
Right.
And he had so many people like that. As soon as Tom Baker, I got even friends that are young and geek enough and should know better. Go, Baker's gone. I can't watch anybody else. Now I'm not like that.
It's tough to switch. It's tough. I mean, look at James Bond with we were doing those on Nick's channel.
But they have a great,
going from Sean Connery to Roger Moore. It's a lot of people.
That's true,
but they have Roger Moore.
It's true, but they have a great concept for this, though.
It works. Yeah,
one of the greatest concepts of all time. Like I said, one of the fun things about being a longtime viewer of the show is, all right, you got your doctor, you love him. You hear he's leaving, you're like, oh no. Hey, Sadako 24. Let's see if I say that right. Sadako 24. Good to see you. It was 82 convention documentary. Thank you, Sadako. Yep, you remember that one, eh? Wow, excellent. So you've got your doctor, right? Then you hear he's leaving. Then you go, oh man. And then I don't know. Then you get the new guy, and like it's not the same. And then, but he's okay. And then boom, you're still back. You're going back on track. You've got a new doc, and you just go, I'm good.
Yeah.
There you go. For me, it was never the same after Tom left, says Sadako. Well, you're not alone. You're not alone at all. But for me, now I have an order that, like, if I had to put my favorites in order, I can do it. Nevertheless, even with Capaldi, whose stories I didn't like, I still love him, so that's why I count him. I love him as an actor. I don't like the way his Doctor was written. So that's 12 in a row. Even if you don't want to include John Hurt, but at least he's a great actor. That are all great actors. That I love them all as actors. That you could judge their stories to varying degrees. So they got lucky in the casting, and I love and so every time I actually love the fact that I don't want him to ever leave, but they're going to leave at some point. So when they do, I love that it's kind of a fun element to see what the new person's going to do.
Yeah. To
get used to the new one's kind of fun.
They all have their unique personalities too. So,
and they contrast the last one for the most part. Now they really, even these, it was tougher for Eccleston to Tennant to Smith, because of it's a different era, and they're but to contrast, but they even managed to contrast that way. Everyone is contrast to the last one. Oh my giddy aunt.
And Eccleston, didn't we know that Tennant was replacing him even before he finished his first season?
Yeah.
I think the news came out, right? Yeah. I liked him as a Doctor. I thought it would have been nice to get a couple more seasons with him. I thought he did a good job on that first season. Well, first continuation, revival, whatever you want to.
Look, a lot of people
Rose
love
episode was
I
good.
think Eccleston was great. That's what I'm saying. In fact, I said that earlier when I was doing my rankings. The one thing about the Christmas Invasion is that, it's one thing for a Doctor to go 3 years and then quit. We've seen that a lot, 3-year minimum, right? But because this one quit after 1 year, it was kind of like a shocking. We didn't know who Tennant was over here at the time, so we're like, man, we were just gotten used to. I mean, at the end of the season, you get used to a Doctor. We've just gotten used to Eccleston. We all liked him. Don't leave yet, dude. I mean, after 3 years, you could understand it. Even if you still don't want the actor to leave, you can get why they're leaving. You go, okay, time to move on. That's what the show does. But after 1 year, it was a strange transition because you're like, I'm not ready for him to go yet. I mean, he can be so much more, but he leaves, the dickhead. And sorry, he is really a jerkweed.
He's gotten a lot
been
of fights with
yeah, he's a
seems
bunt,
with
but he was a prick
people.
to leave. But anyway, so he leaves, and then this guy, like, who's this guy? And then for the gigantic chunk of that Christmas special, we don't get to know him. And then he has the last couple of minutes when he really jumps out at you, and whoa, this guy's good. But then you still have to watch, subsequent episodes to really get a feel for what David Tennant is. So it's a strange transition, like I said, but it is one, and it's interesting. Usually, and that's why I rated that one at 3 instead of higher, because it takes you a long time to get to know your doctor. But the episode's still terrific. He's laying down while he's asleep most of the time.
That was a big shock, because the outfit was the leather jacket, and it was totally radically, the crew cut and and then you're right, it was kind of, but his personality though, you could imagine him being the doctor though, which is why it eventually worked, and he had that gravitas and comedic, acting. What's the right word? The little snarkiness in those episodes, but not overdone. And yeah, he did grow on you at first. I'm like, oh, this is going to be horrible, and then it takes a while, and then you get used. And that's what's great with all these regenerations of all the doctors. Then there's something that you like and maybe don't like about each of them, but yeah, after a while you get used to them, and then you're sad to see that one go. And of course, now look, they're so desperate, they're bringing David Tennant back for, I guess, 3 episodes. Because he's probably the most popular of the newer doctors.
Oh, he's Tom Baker level popular.
Yeah,
he's Tom Baker level popular. See, a lot of things that I think I don't know if we didn't know a lot of things. We didn't know everything there was to know about it over here. As far as fandom in the UK for the show is a little bit different than in the US, because fandom in the US only started in the 80s, where it had been there, since the beginning, of course. And there are a lot of things we didn't know, because there was no internet. So the only things we got to learn about the show, we learned from Starlog. Then we got the Marvel Doctor Who magazine. We got obviously the show itself, and we got books and stuff. And then occasionally we were lucky to get Starburst magazine, Starlog for the UK. But so those were the ways we learned things about Doctor Who. We didn't know what the other fans, what UK fans, for example. What I mean by that is, again, there are a couple of episodes that I didn't know until the past 10 or 12 years or so, by being in contact with certain UK fans of Doctor Who, that they hated, that were generally despised over there, that I liked.
Yeah, but almost universally over in the UK, or that was just you and your, what you liked or didn't like.
I'm just saying, there's some episodes, like I would see some of our British friends cite as a garbage episode, and I'm like, oh, I kind of like that one. I didn't know. I didn't get the memo. I thought it was pretty good. And some of our British, not all, I'm sure some people liked it, but generally despised episodes. Like in the JNT, a lot of in the JNT era in particular, John Nathan Turner era. Dalek says, bringing back Tennant was pure desperation, and I'm not falling for it. I don't blame you. I don't believe it. Look, I don't believe Russell T Davies has our best interest at heart. I believe the fact that he regenerated with his clothes back, he regenerated, didn't regenerate into what's-her-face's clothes, tells me that he's in some kind, they're still in the Matrix, and something fishy. It's not real. Now,
if they get rid of Jodie and he's in the Matrix somehow, that would be kind of cool.
If they use the Matrix to get rid of the timeless children bullshit, at least they're not going to get rid of Jodie. As much as I can't stand her, we're stuck with that crappy era. But if they, get rid of the timeless children trash by saying it was shit that the Master did in the Matrix and it was bullshit, I would
to trick the Doctor. Yeah.
I would like that. Nevertheless, at the end of the 3 episodes that he's going to be in, she's going to pop back long enough to regenerate into Chuti, but it doesn't matter. Let's just say they did that. I'd be like, well, still, I want her erased too, but they won't do it. But let's just say they just erased that origin. Even if they did it, I'd be like, yeah, that's great and all, but you're still, not just because you're regenerating into Chuti, Gatwa, you're going to be run by Disney now, so you're going to be trash anyway. So I don't care if it's Russell T Davies or whatever. It's Disney Who now, so it's going to be Garbaccio.
What did Disney bought his studio, RTD's studio, I guess, or and they're pumped, so
I don't
they're
know.
going to
Did they buy
be
a studio? I can't remember. Someone here probably know, but I mean, yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah.
That's what I think.
So my dear
But
friends who are all getting their hopes up for RTD, first of all, he's an agenda-driven hack as well now, and he's not. He doesn't care about you, and he doesn't even care about the sheet. I mean, yes, he's certainly more talented as a writer than Chibi, but everybody's better than Chibi. So he can make something better. And yeah, I mean, look, yeah, Mega Chris says just rewrite Chinball's run. That'd be great and hilarious. I'd just say erase it, but they won't erase
well, I mean,
it.
as a longtime fan, if they got rid of the Timeless Children and then you had a new Doctor and you just say, all right, those were just some bad stories, I don't have to watch them again, and and they gave us some new great stories, then I would feel a lot. But that's what I really need, is to get rid of the Timeless Children retcon, because that's a pure disaster and an insult to fans and just a slap in your face. It's one thing to have, it's in the old days when you argue about, a bad story, or I didn't like that one, or your friend in the UK thought that an episode you were mentioning was terrible, but you liked it. Those are
Which
fun
one?
things as fans to
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about.
yeah. Sony
Yeah,
bought Bad Wolf, and Disney has a distribution deal. There you go.
that's
Thank
what
you,
I thought.
thank you,
Yeah.
Dalek. See,
Thank
here's
you.
what D-Bud says, something that I thought I was the only one that says. He said, "Doctor Who ended for me when Matt Smith regenerated. Hated the writing on the few Capaldi shows I did see. See, I watched every Capaldi episode. I love him as an actor. I hate the way he was written, and I hate the stories. So for me, the entity of the Doctor, when at the end of time of the Doctor, when he changes into Capaldi's Doctor, the entity we knew as the Doctor actually died. Some other being took over, and it had the same memories and that stuff, but wasn't really the Doc. And it went on to have all these other crappy adventures, but was not my Doctor. And that's just the way I have to compartmentalize it. And yes, I still watched him. I even watched the Jodie crap like an idiot. Yes, I'm dumb. But yeah, I'd love to have Barry Let's Ghost come back and run it. Yeah. Philip Hinchcliffe even. Yeah. Let's
Well, I
get
have to
Robert
say,
Holmes back.
watching the last, and I got to complete my Doctor collection. I only have 3 of them, 10 more to go on that series. But
Of what?
those little guys, the
Yeah, you don't want those.
Thank you. You helped me not
Yeah.
spend money.
Capaldi
And,
was wasted. Great actor.
yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I have to say the last Jodie series, as bad as it seemed to not touch anything political, and it was just not well done, and the characters are not good. But they definitely, there was a tonal change in that last series. I don't think you probably didn't watch it.
Well, I watched all of Jodie except even the Piece of Filth, Timeless Children episode, and then that
Yeah,
last Captain Jack special when he popped up, and then
yeah.
Flux. No, I didn't watch Flux or any of those other specials, and I did, but I just couldn't. I can't. But I did watch this last crap they did last month. What was that again? Power of the Doctor. And
Yeah, that was
the only good stuff is seeing the other doctors, even though they're not really themselves. And I'm just my heartstrings, because I love Ace so much and I love Tegan. The Tegan's can be annoying, but I still was kind of good to see her. But everything else in the episode is still garbage and shit, filth, crappity McShit filth on a shit sandwich.
They did not. I didn't notice overt politicization of that episode, though. That versus
wasn't as much
first,
political crap. It was just with her in there. It's political.
She's not good. Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I think they know how much they've damaged the show for fans, and that's why we love all these old episodes so much. And it's not as overt. Yeah.
So
that was great, right?
Yeah,
I mean, and they're still great characters, and some of that stuff is fun, but that's why they're doing that, right? So think of that. They brought back Ace, and then the regeneration ends up with Tenet. So what does that tell you, right? I mean, right there.
Yeah,
it just shows you that
what does
they
it
know
tell you? Exactly, that she's not popular, and this is not going to save anything. I admit it. I will watch those freaking Tenet episodes. 3 of them. We got to wait a whole year. What is that? What's that about, by the way?
That's weird.
Today's the anniversary. What did the BBC do, by the way? Does anyone know? for my UK friends, you guys, if you could let me know, we're celebrating it in my dumb little way on my nothing little show, just because I love the show. So I decided to talk about some episodes, talk about Doctor Who, do that ranking thing. Did they do anything to celebrate I know it's the 59th, it's an odd number, whatever. Have they done anything to celebrate Doctor Who at all? Hello there, Michelle O'Rourke Johansson. So can anyone answer that question for me while we're here? Did the BBC do anything to celebrate Doctor Who today on the 59th anniversary? Nothing special, says Mug. Okay. Why am I not surprised?
They also used to be a Christmas special, but now it's called the New Year's special or holiday special. What is it now?
They're not even doing that, are they? Is there going to be a
this year? But didn't they move
special? I don't think there's going to be a special either. Yeah, they moved it to New Year's before, but I don't think there's one this year at all.
I know. I don't think there's anything this year, but I'm just trying to remember. But
Jesus, it's ridiculous. Yeah, they don't give a crap. Because that stupid Power of the Doctor, whether you liked it or not, it's one thing. Why wouldn't they show that today instead of last month? I don't know. Because they figured because of the ratings, because it's Thanksgiving, maybe that's what they think, but it's still dumb.
Yeah.
To do that way. Festivus for the rest of us, yeah. The best thing the BBC could do is not do anything with Doctor Who. That's true. Gwagnar. It's kind of funny when you think about it, all this Festivus and all this happy holiday stuff. It's amazing that they actually called the Christmas invasion the Christmas invasion. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Because that was 2006. Back then, I guess you could still say Christmas.
Well, doesn't holiday mean holy day? So whenever it says happy holiday. That's why I said, like, some of my friends would, we're talking about that, and it says, like, we should say Merry Christmas. I said, well, happy holiday also means happy holy day. So
they don't know that. They don't know. They're idiots. But Mega Chris, I do too. I too miss the Christmas specials for a while there, from like 2006 through about 2000, at least 13 or 14. That was great Christmas fun to go do your Christmas crap, at least for me, and have that Doctor Who Christmas special to look forward to. Last year, I did a show at around Christmas time where I ranked, like I did tonight, of these intro episodes. I ranked the Christmas specials, and I had a blast doing that. Show. Thanks, I appreciate that, and I had fun researching that.
What was the name of the episode where it was take on the Christmas Carol, and they had the flying sharks?
Yeah, it was a Doctor Who Christmas Carol. Yeah.
Christmas Carol, yeah, I love that episode. That was great. I mean, there are a ton of good ones, but
Michelle says, we have a guest in the stream. My son Morgan. I have headphones on my stomach. Oh well, hello there, Morgan. Morgan, watch classic Doctor Who, and then some of the new revival ones, but don't watch past season 50.
And if your son is able to do Gorn impressions, you'll know why.
Yes, and if you and watch real Star Trek and only read good comics, make sure your mom consults with me on the comics and TV shows you watch. So,
yeah, don't listen to me for. I'm buying that new stuff sometimes, so don't listen to me. Yeah.
The Feast of Stephen. Which one is the Feast of Stephen? Wagner. I don't know what that one is.
I don't remember that one either.
Is that a Doctor Who Christmas special? So. No, that's pretty sure that's not. I ranked all of them that they had. Put it this way, I didn't rank the non ones because they didn't have any Christmas specials past Capaldi. They were all called something else. They were New Year's whatchamacallit specials, and so I didn't count them anyway. Not that I would have ranked them anyway because they're not Doctor Who. It's considered lost. The Feast. Are you talking about I never got it's considered lost. You're talking about the old one from the Hartnell era? Oh yeah. No, I couldn't find it. Do you isn't that completely gone?
What season was that? I can look on my collection.
Stephen was in Hartnell's last season, I think.
Hartnell's last season. Yep.
That was part of the Daleks master plan. Yeah, it's gone, dude. So no, I didn't rank that one.
Well, the sad thing is, they were reusing the tapes, and then no one ever thought they'd watch these again, right? So
season 3. It was
just in general,
season. Yeah.
And Doctor Who, we're actually pretty lucky. We have more of some shows are just totally gone from the BBC, because Doctor Who was so popular, and it was actually being sent to broadcast they recovered a bunch of, you can research it. There's a bunch of great articles on the internet if you Google lost Doctor Who episodes, and they sent to other countries, and they found the tapes years later. So
yeah, I wondered what the hell you were talking about. You haven't thought about that in years. I wish they would animate. They do these animated ones. I wish they would animate the Dalek Master Plan. I thought they were supposed to be doing that. Even though it's 12. That's 12 parts. That's the longest episode. The second longest episode at least exists. That's War Games.
So what season is that? That's season 1 or
which one? Dalek Master Plan is, I think, season 3, isn't it?
Let me check here. Season 3.
That's
I got the TV.
And they all have like individual titles, but the audio and telesnaps exist of the episode. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we've got all the audio thanks to fans recording it at home.
But anyway, so yes, those were the day. Man, you come home from wherever your Christmas thing is. At least for me, I can only speak for me. I get done with all our Christmas family stuff and all that stuff, and get home, and could not wait to watch the Doctor Who Christmas special from around 2006 on to at least 2013. Were all of them great? No, I didn't like the ones that I didn't really. I had some problems with Time with the Doctor, but man, there were some great ones from Christmas Invasion, The Runaway Bride, The Next Doctor. They were just man. Listen, what some of the other great ones? Yeah, Christmas Carol. I mean, it was just beautiful.
And what about?
I can't remember how I ranked them now. I'd have to go look it up.
Donna Noble's first episode, was that
Runaway Bride?
Yeah, well, that was a special. Or that was just a standard episode.
That was a Christmas special. She came out later in an episode.
So that was that was a fantastic episode too.
Runaway Bride was fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah.
Alejandro says, I loved Voyage to the Damned. I didn't like that too much the first time I saw it. I watched it again recently and liked it a little bit better. It was kind of a downer at the end, though.
Doesn't it have Retro Blasting's favorite?
He does have, but they killed her. Damn them. Yeah, it has Kylie. Man, we should have just if you could have just why kill the Kylie character? Have her. I know she wasn't going to join the show. I understand that, but he should have had her still don't kill her character. Have her. See if you can coax her into doing one more episode. Then she runs off somewhere. He drops her somewhere. Here's another thing about the new show. Okay. Companions, because of this histrionic era we live in this 21st century that we live in, the silly 21st century. Remember when companions, for the most part, were just saying, Doc, this is all fun and stuff, but I gotta go back to my own. This is not my life. I got to cut out. Now, obviously, Tegan's was very dramatic, and of course, sometimes one of them dies. But for the most part, they just say, Doc. He dumped Sarah. That was weird. I think it was weird why he dumped Sarah, but they're never going to get into it because the show was a kids' show. They weren't going to go into that. But for the most part, many companions just stay somewhere else and just get tired of running around. The way they did Perry was really terrible. I mean, I love Brian Blessed, but my God, they cursed her to marry Brian Blessed. But now. Companions can't leave unless they come up with either kill him or come up with some dumb contraption excuse to get rid of them. Contrived grivel. Dalek says the Christmas specials were an annual thing I looked forward to so much on Christmas, but that's gone now. There's almost nothing to watch at Christmas now. Yeah, that's why at Christmas, Dalek, I still go back and watch some of the better ones. I just. That Christmas Carol one, even the Lion, the Witch, and the whatever, the Doctor, whatever, even that, the Doctor, the Witch, and the whatever, the Wardrobe, whatever the hell it was, the Doctor, something.
Lion, the Witch, and the
something, the Witch and the Doctor, something in the Wardrobe.
That was pretty good. That was with the mother on the planet. And
it was kind of it grew on me. I didn't like it as much as first, but it was still, it had a nice fairy tale feel to it. Yeah, it was fun.
Fantasy in that one, yeah, a lot of fantasy.
Yeah, but again, like you said, Christmas Invasion, Lion, the Doctor, and the Wardrobe. The Christmas Invasion, Runaway Bride. The Next Doctor was really entertaining. Remember that one? And because like you said, they also did Voyage of the Damned. The Next Doctor.
Which one? I'm so bad with the title.
The one where he goes back into the 1800s and he meets this guy that thinks he's the Doctor.
Thinks he's a Doctor, right?
Yeah, that was that.
That was
that
great,
actor.
yeah.
That was really great.
That was a good one too. Yeah, and he's kind of dresses like the doctor. And what was the? Well, we don't want to give spoilers.
It's kind of
What was it?
spoilers. Don't worry about that.
It was the
he'd
watch,
come
right? It wasn't
across this one of these canister thingies that held. It was like a, I forgot what the doctor called it, but he accidentally turned it on or something, and it affected his mind. His memory gave him the doctor's memories.
Yeah, it has essence in it. Basically, it was like a McCoy to
And he
Spock.
thought it was it was an accident. Forgot what they called those damn things. My memory. I just watched it last year, but I can't even remember what order I ranked them in now. That's how bad my crap bag memory is. Just like a year from now, I won't remember how I rank these, but I will since we're into the 2 hour ranks. I'm gonna recap them one more time with commentary with Mark D. We'll recap one more time the episodes for anyone listening who popped in later or who lurks later or whatever, and then we'll proceed to call it a Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah, time to get turkey prepped. Yep.
Yeah, go get your turkey. Get your turkey ready. What the hell? Let's see. Okay, so all right. Again, my list once again, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have some commentary with us. We have Mark D with a C. He can voice your concerns.
Sure.
Where am I? I keep hitting the wrong name. Captain Infinity and Beyond. Good to see you there, buddy. Okay, recap of the ranking of the 12 Doctor Who intro episodes. First episode with an Doctor, in other words. Here we go. Number 12. Thank you for helping me get to watch this thing again. I watched it again last night. The Putrid Fox movie. The Enemy Within. With idiocy as the Doctor, as being the Daleks' lackeys. The Doctor, Seventh Doctor, walking out of the TARDIS into a hail of bullets. The Doctor changing in a ridiculous Frankenstein's crappy lightning-filled regeneration stupid scene. Other crap like the Doctor being half human. The Doctor, re-experiencing puberty by kissing a girl. And other Americanized crap coming from a proud American who loves his country. Americanized crap in Doctor Who. Hey, a Hershey's bar in your peanut butter's fine. Not best. Not American in your Doctor Who. We Americans are content to love and watch Doctor Who. Don't let us make it. Now, I know it's hypocritical. We'll let you British people play superheroes. We do, and that's fine. Because even though those superheroes originated in America, those superheroes are for everyone. Our British friends can love Superman and Spider-Man and all that stuff, and they can play those characters. But the Doctor, Mega Chris, it was just a Fox pilot, but it got called The Enemy Within later, which shows the originality of these idiots that rip off a Star Trek title. Okay, any thoughts on that episode? On that one?
Well, I was just so excited to see it. I remember watching it with my buddy Rob when that was out. We're like, we can't believe it. Doctor Who's coming back. That's gonna be awesome. And you know what? Kind of one of those things when you first say, well, you don't want to say it's bad because you're such a big fan, and you're like, yeah, well, it wasn't too bad, right? And then later on, you're like, they really screwed some things up in the show. I mean, Began is great in it, and the love interest was good, but it wasn't written as a proper Doctor Who movie. So enough said, but it did get some points just in terms of, hey, bringing him back. And I think it probably did well enough that, at least Doctor Who didn't
bombed.
No, but I mean, I think people, didn't go, the series was still able to come back, eventually didn't totally
10 years,
kill it.
9 years later. So it was,
I guess I'm trying to be nice.
Don't be nice to this crap.
Don't be nice. Yeah,
this cost us a series. This was so bad. We didn't, it ruined the chance of getting the show.
Well,
back.
That's true. I guess. Yeah. They were going to bring him back, but
nothing against Paul McGann. Great actor. So number 11, Deep Breath, the beginning of a bad era of stories and wasting maybe the second biggest tragedy of Doctor Who after the Chibi era and the Chidi Jodie era, wasting of a brilliant, great actor, Peter Capaldi, in bad stories with bad characterization, at least in my opinion. And it was a lackluster story in any case. Any views on this one?
I mean, in some ways I had more fun watching the Doctor Who movie. But this is another bad story too. So This is just and Claire was just a real poorly written character down the road, and it's sad because Capaldi loves Doctor Who, and he's
What a
one of the
shame, man! It's
it's
tragic because he
and
really
even Matt
loved.
Smith had some bad stories too with
Oh,
the
Matt
at the
Smith
end
had a
of
lot of
his one.
bad stories, sure. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Moffat was a better writer on individual episodes than he was as a showrunner. But
Yeah. So this is I
yeah.
agree with this. It's not good.
So,
Yeah.
by the way, feel free to disagree on these because they gave me a lot of static for some of my choices, my placement. They're
Well, I
calling
mean,
me
you're just putting these in
they're
order too.
calling
It
me
doesn't.
tripwire.
I
No,
mean,
no,
it doesn't.
I'm ranking them in my opinion that worst to first. But yeah,
Yeah, but doesn't mean they're all horrible. I mean, some of them are bad episodes, but it's like
no.
picking.
Once we get halfway in, it's we're to episodes
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
So number 10 is Power of the Daleks. There's a bit of an asterisk there because it was destroyed and linked back together with audios and animation. I went to the theater to see this at the Fathom event back in 2017. I don't know what teen it was, but a good while back. It's really a shame that they had to animate the first bits of him waking up as the Troughton Doctor, but still what you could hear of it and see of it through the animation, it was kind of awkward and clunky because again, they didn't know what they were doing. It was just starting. It was new ground in terms of chronicling the Doctor waking up into a new body. But it's also going through kind of I want to say not a great story. I didn't think the story was particularly good or compelling. I thought it was kind of flabby. This episode really kind of goes on too much. And I don't know. It wasn't one of my favorite Dalek stories. It was okay, but I don't think it really worked too well. And again, because a lot of it's animated, you don't get to see him shine. This wonderful Doctor, Patrick Troughton, is just fantastic. It's BBC. You should you burn these episodes, you should burn for it. Whoever burned and destroyed these Doctor Who episodes, I hope they had miserable, crappy lives and burned themselves. Does that sound evil? Okay. I don't really hope that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just kidding, but it just pisses me off. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, yeah. It's just
over the top, but
so
just
sad.
makes me sick.
I can't remember if I watched this one because I did find a bunch of old episodes, and I don't know. All
right, Chris Persian.
This one. So,
thank you, buddy. Take care, man.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yep.
He's Canadian. He doesn't do
I know, but happy Thanksgiving anyway.
But happy our Thanksgiving to you.
Happy our Thanksgiving to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
but these are tough to watch. Some of the
animation's not even that good. To be honest,
not good on this one. If I'm remembering, I might have skimmed through it. But they did a nice job with some of the later ones.
In this one.
Oh yeah. But later on, they did a little bit better job, and I think someday we'll get the computers will be so advanced. Someday you're gonna have fans. They're gonna do 3D animated versions of these episodes.
We'll see. Yeah,
that's my prediction. In like 50 years or 30 years, you'll have fans will just recreate the episode. Come back in 30 years and we'll see.
Number 9, An Unearthly Child. 59 years ago today, the first episode of this one airs. They're two slightly different versions of the first segment of the first story. And you can see it on Amazon, the fairly different version. Either way, the first segment, part 1, is actually called The Unearthly Child, but it's still a 4-parter, and it's down low because that first segment, which is very intriguing and very interesting and fun to watch, it kind of after once we get into the TARDIS and once we get quote unquote going on the story. Hey there, Donnie Pearson, good to see you, my friend.
Hey, Donnie.
Once the story gets going, it just turns into it just takes a weird turn into this stupid caveman story with these British cavemen. And yes, cavemen who, it's just all not knocking you. I know I love my British friends. I'm just saying they're British cavemen. It's kind of funny actually, but it's not a good story. And it goes after it makes you wait till further stories down the road, put it like that, to start really fleshing out what the series is all about. The next step, because the next multi-parter, for example, is called The Daleks, which this show right here almost killed the show. There's almost nothing we'd be talking about here tonight because this one, the network hated it everyone just said, no, what are you doing? What is this shit? But they let them make the Daleks, and the Daleks kids starting running around wanting to be Daleks, and the Daleks, the Doctor's worst enemy, saved the show.
Didn't they have different companions in the one version had different companions on this one? Or
no,
I'm trying to remember. There were two different. You were saying two different versions. Was it because of the companions, or I can't?
No, there were no different companions. No, not in this one.
No, not this one. Oh, okay, I'm trying to remember. I've seen this one, but your Muslim uncle, and also JFK was assassinated the
day before.
Day. Yeah,
that didn't help with the attention. That actually, it gave them a chance to go back and get another chance at make the show again there. Dalek Mania, indeed, sir. Number 7. Number 8. Where am I? Number 8. Number 8. The Twin Dilemma. Much maligned, much hated episode. Doctor who's probably of all the classic Doctors, the most maligned, in my opinion, unjustly. I love the performance of Colin Baker in this one. I do concede that him trying to strangle Perry, which, by the way, is kind of a funny scene. It's a little bit over the top, but they were going for an edgier Doctor at that time. Edgy. I mean, nowhere near as bad as what they did with Capaldi, making him completely unlikable. At least they still let Colin Baker be likable in his crazy, as the Master referred to it, vulgarly colored coat. But I thought this was actually pretty good. I mean, this episode is mostly entertaining for the great performance of Colin Baker as a crazy manic doctor, but it's also an okay story. I mean, it's a decent enough. I don't know why people hate it so much. The twins don't even get on my nerves as much as they do other people. Have you seen this one?
I don't remember if I've seen this one.
I thought it was okay, but it's one of those ones I tell you about that people really hate.
Well, yeah, I remember you're talking. Yeah, when you're talking about the Doctor going nuts.
This is a hated episode.
Yeah, no, Colin Baker's a great actor. He's interesting guy. So, wasn't he in?
He was on a Blake 7 episode.
Blake 7, right?
Yeah, and he was on an earlier Doctor Who episode called Arc of Infinity. So before this,
kind of like Capaldi was in Fires of
Pompeii. Yeah,
Fires of Pompeii, right? Yeah, and Martha was in an episode too. Yeah,
yeah, yes, she was. No, Martha was on Torchwood, and then she was on Doctor Who.
Oh, it was Torchwood first,
but she was playing her cousin.
Her cousin, right? Yeah.
Number 7 introduces Doctor Number 7, and I thought great fashion. I mean, I love Sylvester McCoy. Again, this is one I did not know that many of my British brethren hated. I did not know how much, because people are always citing this one as a hated episode. And I was like, I always liked it because I liked Sylvester McCoy. Now, the rest of this season is pretty horrible, I got to admit. But I thought this one was pretty good. We get the Ronnie. Yes, he did have to play his own. He did have to play, he regenerates into himself.
Oh, yeah.
The opening scene, Colin Baker had already been chased away by those jackasses to BBC. So the opening scene and the regeneration is him in a wig. And this guy ain't nowhere near the same size as Colin Baker.
Yeah. So
but you've seen this
no
one?
CGI back then, right?
You seen this one, or have you seen this one?
It's been years. I didn't do my homework for this one. I was getting ready for that.
That's right. No biggie. I'm just going through them real quick.
I just like Sylvester McCoy, but
I love this one. I love it.
Remember
I'm not supposed to. It's very entertaining. It's not your greatest story or anything, but he's a lot of fun in it. And boom. Now we're getting to the episodes that are truly, I think, are great ones. I'm still in trouble for the placement, but I'm okay. I hope you all forgive me someday. But number 6, Rose. I know you've seen this.
Of course, I've seen that multiple times. Yeah, that's a great intro episode.
Yeah, it's a great intro. I mean, we don't get a regeneration, of course. There's a slight little nod when he looks into a mirror, and it's almost like he hasn't seen himself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sadaku did not.
Who's that?
Sadaku, our buddy Sadaku did not like Time of Ride. Depressing? I thought it was pretty. I actually thought it was pretty uplifting, but I guess he just means he thinks it was bad. Well, you're not alone. Most people think it's bad. I'm weird, Sadaku. What can I tell you? This was thoroughly entertaining. When I expected nothing. I still don't like the way he dresses. Never will. He's not doctory enough.
Yeah.
But in the way he dresses, but he is the doctor with that, even with that What's a planet have a north? Talking like someone from the north. Whatever that
His
means.
character, yes, his characterization is perfect. Yeah,
we get to
and
see
then
the Autons.
yeah, I was gonna say the Autons are so well done. Compared that to the, I always go back to talking unlucky number 13, but when they had the plastics episode, compare that versus this one. How well done this is and how believable it is, even though it's fantastic. And it's just a great intro to the character, and you're in your point of view as Rose, and her mom is great. Mickey, I think, was not well written.
Mickey got better though. Yeah, Mickey really was way better. Yeah,
but not in this episode. Other than that, but it's just a classic, and right away you fall in love with the characters all over again. Quickly, you're like, yeah, this is Doctor Who by the end of the episode.
Yes, it was felt so good. I mean, I think I don't know if you heard me tell it earlier. This was not when Doctor Who was airing in the. I mean, they were getting it over there. It wasn't airing in the States immediately at all. Yet it was going to be months before. It was months and almost a year after that this aired in the States properly. But a buddy of mine got it online. The pilot leaked a week early, and I got to watch it over and over again, and just couldn't wait to see the next one. I went like that 2 weeks was a long 2 weeks, so I kept watching it, saying, "I can't believe it. This feels like Doctor." I mean, yes, it's modern, with the modern effects and stuff, but it feels like Doctor Who. Except for the dumb garbage bin scene. I agree that was stupid. But other than that, it's great stuff.
And this episode had a lot to prove, too. So, you don't want to have a clunker of an episode to start the series back up again. So
no, it had a lot of work to do. That's absolutely right.
Because you don't want to lose those viewers right away. So,
yes, sir.
Then they went up. They kept going, getting better and better. That was a great series, so great revival. So
number 5, Robot. This got me in trouble. People want it to be higher, but the thing is, I'm also judging story. Story's just sort of thin there, but of course, Tom Baker is magnificent. I mean, from get-go, especially the first segment of part 1 of Robot is just so unbelievable. It carries the other 3 parts, which is a relatively simplistic story, but just sad that it's kind of almost a farewell to Unit, even though we'll get Unit a little bit later in Terror of the Zygons. And at that time, when I first saw it 40 years ago, I didn't know that, but so we still get a Prime Unit episode. One of the, it's just terrific. But Tom Baker's performance in this is just off the chart. I mean, it's just wow. Just of all the performances of all these 12 episodes in terms of knocking it out of the park, I don't know if anybody is quite comparable to what Tom did in this one.
So. No, he's just incredible as a Doctor, and like I said before, I thought he was the only Doctor.
Yes.
Doctor Who, but of course you got Sarah Jane Smith in this episode. You got a cool robot K1. I guess is that why K9 became?
I've always wondered.
Just the joke on the K9, I guess.
Yeah.
Play on Doctor, but this is robot K1. So
that's true. Bessie's final appearance for the 5 Doctors. Damn it, that's true. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. So Tom Baker is just like you said. Just he's an old man now, and but just his booming voice, how happy that made everyone to hear that voice on Doctor Who again. Even though he doesn't obviously look the same. God, I hope I'm around at that age. Who knows what the hell I'll look like? But just the hairs on the back of your neck go up. You're just so exciting to hear his voice again, and just. He's just fantastic performance. It's eccentric, quirky, smart. He combines all those things together, and he can be serious, and he's not just a one note actor. That's what I think his performance is so great as a Doctor. So.
You may be a doctor, but I am the Doctor, the definite article, you might say. Yeah, I love that quote. There you go. Your Muslim uncle says, I'm in the ICU with Mom. Oh, my goodness. And listening to this and talking about stories I love is comforting, just being honest. These shows help a lot of people dealing with stuff. thank you, your Muslim uncle. I don't know what to say to that, man. I'm touched by that, and I thank you, and I hope that your wonderful mother does well. I don't know what's going on there, but I hope she does well, gets better, and everything goes okay for you there at the ICU, my friend. Thank you, and thank you for those kind words, buddy. Best of luck to you and your wonderful mother and your family, and I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well wishes, your Muslim uncle. I know that's pretty scary to be in the ICU. Obviously, thoughts go out to you and your mom, and especially tough, I know, during the holidays. But hope things turn out as best they can, and everyone, I'm sure, is thinking of you right now and your mom. So
good luck, buddy.
Not easy, but hopefully this will help get your mind off things for a few minutes and think about some fun things. So,
indeed,
some good times.
Sir. Number 4 is The Spearhead from Space. I put this above Robot because I think this is overall a better story. It takes a little bit of time for the new Doctor, the great John Pertwee, to get moving in the story, to get on his feet, maybe later into like the second episode, really, which is kind of, if you can't wait, especially it must have been back then, it must have been really weird when it was first aired. But once he does, of course, we got Prime. We get the pretty much the setting the foundations for Unit. We get a new companion with the wonderful Liz Shaw. We got the good old Brig, and we got the first appearance of the nesting consciousness, the Autons, which is just top-notch stuff all the way through. We got a creepy, atmospheric story, and Pertwee, of course, just once he finally, gets going developing into his persona as the Doctor is fantastic, and you got a great road ahead of you for this. So I love The Spearhead from Space. Have you seen this one?
I don't think so. I'm guessing I haven't.
Well,
I've been going through in order watching, but what episode? What season is this? This
is the beginning of season 7.
7, right? Yeah. So I started watching from number 1 again and getting through.
Gotcha. Well, in the previous episode, the War Games, 10 parts, by the way. Patrick Troughton's second Doctor is put on trial by the Time Lords and forced to regenerate. And they then exiled to Earth. His all the dematerialization codes from his head are taken out of his mind, and the TARDIS is stranded there. And they decided to put him on it's 1970 when the show's being made, but it's really considered to be 1980. They later went back and fiddled with that, but it's supposed to be like the far-flung future of 1980, sort of like UFO.
Oh, so because that.
But
the episode
later
was
contradicted that, but it was 1970 when the show came out. But anyway, so here we go. Number 3, The Christmas Invasion. I know you've seen this.
I might have seen this one.
I've seen this like 20,000 times. Beautiful, fun, great stuff. Again, if it has one reason why it's not in the top 2, because it is highly entertaining. This episode makes you wait for Doctor. We get a little bit of him at the beginning, then nothing for a long time. A little bit in the middle, and it's cool, and he's great, but nothing again. And then almost all the way to the end, we finally get the Doctor that we're going to know and love later. And it's great, but it's like a little snippet. It's like a little tease show until the next episode when you get to see more about the great Dave Tennant Doctor. However, it's still a thoroughly wonderful. It still ranks high. This is pretty damn high considering it's just a thoroughly enjoyable episode.
And parting of ways, did you get to see Tennant's face at all? Or I'm trying to remember.
Yes, you do at the end. Dalek says no, it was set in the present day of 1970. Well, I've seen other accounts that say different from that, Dalek, but remember, or at least it was set a little bit, maybe not 1980, but maybe it was like 1975 or something. Because remember, in Pyramids of Mars, Sarah Jane said they were supposed to be going back to 1980. So maybe I was thinking maybe it's set in 1975, even though it was shown in 1970. But, then later in The Modern Undead, they totally went back and changed that. So, yeah. But Sarah Jane does say she's from 1980, when that was about like 5 years or so after It's all crazy. So I just say 70s and leave it at that, personally.
Oh, there's time travel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what was great about this episode was, well, first of all, it's the first Christmas episode, right? So it aired on Christmas. So, and then of course you got the evil Santa Claus, and you've got these, robots basically that are, the creatures, just real scary, terrifying Christmas stuff. So it was, it was real. But then, when this is one of the speech where he gives the speech at the end to scare the aliens off, or
No, that was the beginning of the speech making days
yeah.
of the Doctor. But no, we were both a little bit off Dalek 451 because they played fast and loose with it. So I was probably, when I say 1980 about Spearhead from Space, I'm probably wrong. It was probably more like 75-ish. And then, years later when when Sarah Jane comes along, maybe that's like 1980 because she says that. But then they threw all that in the gutter with one of my favorite episodes, Modern Undead. They contradicted the hell out of that. So it's crazy, man. It's just all over the place. So anyway, because remember, Modern Undead takes place between, it has the 1977 Brigadier, who was already retired, and the 1983 Brigadier, who was at the same school. So it's just wackadoodle. But anyway, so in the day of the Doctor, Kate Stewart asked for one of her father's files. She says it may be filed under 1970s or 80s. Yes, Krelma, which was a nickname for the Three Doctors file. Anyway, so yeah, this was thoroughly entertaining.
Great episode.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm only saying it did skimp on Doctor, but he still
he loses a hand in this episode too, right?
He does. You got to hand it to him.
Remember that, and then he grows back.
Number 2. Have you ever seen Castrovelva? I got in trouble for this and having it so high, but I love it.
You had it on top of Christmas Invasion.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get way more Doctor in this one. Yes, he's still getting used to himself. That first episode in particular is a lot of fun with him. There's a great bit where, Peter Davison, who I think is just terrific, had done a lot of abuse back then. A scene where he's, still not himself, and he's channeling the other doctors. Like he's in the TARDIS, and he says, he goes, "Tell me, boy, what would you do if you were me, huh? Perhaps I should ask, what would I do if I were me?" He's like, channeling the first Doctor. And then he goes, "Oh no, oh dear, run!" He acts like the second Doctor, and later he even goes, "Not far now, Brigadier. If the Ice Warriors don't get there first," he's the third Doctor. He keeps channeling other personality doctors. I thought that was a lot of fun. And he's there, and I don't care what anyone says. I love the cricket outfit. I think it's terrific.
The problem with this is he's following Tom Baker, so it's would you want to follow the Beatles in a talent show or Elvis? I don't know. It's a really tough act to follow. So a lot of people are just not going to give the guy a chance either, no matter what happens following someone like Tom Baker. So that's and you feel bad for Davison too in that respect. Really difficult spot to be in to follow number 4. So
well, I don't disagree with you guys saying that it was a draggy bit in episode 3. In episode 2, a little bit 2. No, not so much 2, because 2 had some primary Anthony Ainley as the master. But in 3 and 4, the Castrovalva has a draggy bit, no question about it. But I still love the performance of Peter Davison, and you get the Doctor mostly through the episode, and I just loved it. But yeah, not endless walking through forests, but it sure felt like it, Matthew. But Doctor Who did that forever though. Doctor Who, I don't care if it's Hartnell, Troughton, Pertwee, not as much Baker because they trimlined the episodes. There are a lot of Pertwee episodes that were 6-parters that could have been 4-parters. There were a lot of Troughton episodes that were 4-parters that could have been, 6-parters that could have been 4-parters or 2-parters. And they used, they had so many stories. They used to pad these episodes out pretty good sometimes, especially in the early days. So, and even in those, yeah. What are your episodes on Time Flight? The Concord episode. Time Flight was a very interesting story with some of the worst effects you've ever seen on Doctor Who, and that's saying something. There are a lot of enjoyable ideas in Time Flight, and the Master's great, but Time Flight's a mess, Alejandro. In a kind of in a fun way, but it's a mess. So yeah, I'll that'll be one to review. That's crazy stuff there. Are we ready for number one?
What's your number
one? You're going to be shocked.
Let's see.
The 11th hour.
Yeah, that speech at the end is one of the greatest all-time Doctor Who speeches, and I wasn't sure about the guy eating fish sticks and custard in the beginning. You got Amy Pond, and then when he flips the switch in the end, it becomes the Doctor. In my mind,
I loved it from the beginning.
Tells those aliens that I'm going to kick. In my paraphrasing, and
I can tell you what he said.
You can quote it exactly for me. Yeah,
he said just one. I just ask you what he says. One thing he told the Atraxi to review all the things that have happened to this Earth. He says one thing. He says you have to just ask yourself this one question. Oh, there've been so many. He asked basically what happened to them. It wasn't even much of a speech. He was just saying. He was just telling them basically, review the files. Look, is this Earth any danger to you?
Yeah,
or whatever?
and then you see the data bank scrolling and pictures of old doctors.
Villains.
Yeah.
Then he says, so ask yourself one more question: is what happened to them? And then they start showing the doctors, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
And they're obviously the Atraxi are getting the program. He goes, "Hello." He steps through. I love that shot. He steps through the face of the last one. And he says, "Hello, I'm the Doctor." Basically, run. Man, it was just like
you're effed.
Yeah. And I bought him from the beginning. I like the very opening part where he's hanging onto the TARDIS and it's flying through space and stuff.
Yeah. No, it's all good. But I said that takes it to 11 with that speech in the end, and of course you got Amelia, save the gingers.
I love the fairy tale.
She's wearing
aspects.
that police uniform. So just great, great all around intro, and then of course, Amy's been waiting for the Doctor, and he shows up. He thinks just a few minutes later, and it's been years for her. So you've got that great bit there, and thinking that she's she probably thought she was crazy, and but just that speech at the end, and you see the wheels are spinning at the end.
Oh, he's
on the roof there, and they've got their spaceship.
Yeah,
I love that. So that's just a great, and it's not overdone here.
I just love the fantasy aspect, the fairy tale aspect of it. Just so good. It's so amazing.
Yeah, so I found a synopsis. So the Doctor asks his final question: "Is the Earth protected?" He then elaborates, "You're not the first lot to have come here. Oh, there have been so many.
So many. Go ahead."
And what you've got to ask is, do you feel lucky, Punk? What happened to them? Like you said, yeah.
What happened to them?
Yeah. Hello, I'm the Doctor. Basically, run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just you got chills seeing that. And Matt Smith, don't forget how young he is too. And
that's what really sold it. I can believe that guy's a 2,000-year-old. 1,000-plus-year-old time lord. Later 2000. But yeah.
And what's amazing too is he's all around fantastic actor. So he's in the new Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, which surprisingly was excellent. I didn't expect much, and God, he's so good in that series. He's just and you don't picture him being a fantasy warrior, and he's got one of the earlier episodes. He just has this phenomenal combat scene where he's brilliant, and he's a great athlete too. So. He's very good in soccer, aka football. So he's in one episode he was playing. They had him playing soccer in one episode. So he's got some skills, and his physicality is good too. And
great actor.
So I could see maybe where some people might argue with some of the placements, but like you said, those are all when you get up to the top. Those are all good episodes. So
it's like I said, it's tough to make. It's tough to introduce a new Doctor. There are plenty of. The 11th hour is the only one on this list probably that would go in my top like lists with other great episodes that have nothing to do with introducing a doctor.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's one that was my top either way. I love it that much. I'm crazy for it. But Ezra Goldstein says, Clobby, what is your opinion of the Horns of Nymon? I like that one. It's been a while since I've watched it. It had some kind of goofy stuff with at the end there with the doctor and that, what's that sycophant guy's name? But on the whole, I kind of like that one. It's not, now you're making me want to go watch it again, Ezra. That was, of course, in Lala Ward, Rabana 2's first season. You'd rank Robot higher. Well, I love Robot. Remember, I'm basing it on episodes too. Let's see here. Has anyone seen Tom Baker? Yes, Captain Rum in the Blackadder episode is priceless. Yeah, it was called Blackadder 2. The episode, yeah. Oh my God. I mean, no, excuse me. It was Blackadder. Wasn't Blackadder? Yeah, it was Blackadder 2. Yes, the episode was what was the name of that episode? Potato was the name of the episode, and it had Tom Baker. It even had Dent off a Dent. Simon Jones in it. I love that episode. You have a woman's paws, my lord. You have a woman's bottom, my lord. He was fantastic in that episode. He's always fantastic. He's Tom Baker.
It's Tom Baker, right?
Yeah, he's the best.
Can do no wrong, yeah.
Yeah, love it. I love Blackadder. Great show, man. Underworld. Underworld. I didn't like that episode too much. Isn't that the first one with K9? K9. Was Underworld the first one with K9, or am I getting that backward? No, Invisible Enemy was the first one with K9. Not Underworld, sorry. But anyway, yeah. Got that backwards for me. Yes, Tom Baker was
Beckinsale. I thought Kate Beckinsale was fantastic in Underworld. So sorry, bad joke.
I hate that movie. I don't like those movies.
You don't like that stuff, yeah.
Anyway, what was it? Tom Baker was also in. Yes, he was in the Remington Steel. I remember that.
Oh, it was, yeah. I think I've seen most of Remington Steel, but it's been years. So,
yeah, he was on an episode. Well. Man, this is too much fun talking Doctor Who. I think I will watch some more Doctor Who tonight. Blackadder is pure classic comedy gold. I love it. Oh, man. Dalek, I love Blackadder. It's one of the greatest. D-Bud says, Clobby, do you have a list of your favorite episodes for each of the Doctors, like i.e. favorite Hartnell story, Traps? That'd be an interesting list to do. Many years ago, Doctor Who magazine, and this was like around 2010 or 11, when they came out, when at that time there existed only 200 Doctor Who stories. So they ranked the 200, and that, of course, I looked at that rank and go, what in the hell? I went nuts over it. And so I did a show where a friend of mine, we did our top 25 countdown, but I haven't counted down favorite episodes again. And so very soon, I might just count down my favorite all-time. I don't know. Maybe next year I'll count down my top 60. Yeah. I don't know. That's weird.
Well, that's a fun list. So yeah,
it'll be 60. But yeah, I might do it by doctor. That is a good idea, though. D-Bud.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. What is your opinion of Androids of Terror? I like it. That's of course a time. That was of course a Key to Time episode with the first Romana. Oh my God, Mary Tam. Woo. Androids of Terror is a good one. Isn't that the one where the guy keeps cutting a scarf with an electro sword? Again, I could be misremembering it.
Well, there's so many episodes in Doctor Who. I mean, I think Star Trek is hard to put. How many total episodes of Doctor Who are there?
I don't want to count. I don't want to count.
There's 735.
If you go by segments, whew. But if you go by stories, it's different. Blackadder 2 is definitely Blackadder 2 might be the strongest. It's so tough for me to pick, but I think I would have to. Could not be reached for comment if I were forced to pick one of all the great Blackadder stories. I might, by a slight margin, pick Blackadder goes fourth, but Blackadder 2 is just as great. And I love 3. I can't choose between those 3. I can't do it. And then there's the Blackadder Christmas special, which I watch every year. Blackadder Back and Forth, the Christmas New Year special they did in 2000, which was also great. Even the first series, which was not as good as the first three, that was just called The Blackadder, where he was not the same type of character, but he was still hilarious, and Brian Blessed was great. They're all just terrific. Even Blackadder, the Cavalier Years, the special they made. I love it. I'm going to watch me some Blackadder soon. Blackadder. Yeah, and Red Dwarf's another great show. We should talk some Red Dwarf one of these days. So, what you got going on, Duder? Obviously, Thanksgiving. And stuff,
Thanksgiving tomorrow. I'm gonna do some deep fried turkey. So maybe I'll put up a short of that. Not burning down the house. Always do that outside in your driveway, and have a fire extinguisher ready.
It's good not to burn your house down. I understand.
Yeah, but doing that, and then you're gonna be watching football all day. And remember,
Detroit going to get beat by tomorrow?
Yeah, hopefully the my Giants will win. So we'll see.
You're playing the Cowgirls tomorrow, huh?
The Cowgirls. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it reminds me of when I first met my wife. We went to one of her relatives' houses out in the boonies in Connecticut, and she's like, "Just so you know, they don't have cable." And this is back then when a lot of people didn't have cable, but they only get 1 or 2 channels because of where they live. It's like, what? That's Thanksgiving is football day, So and that was before you could stream everything, and the food was cold. Oh, it was not a good Thanksgiving, but no, it was fun. We had fun, but so everyone enjoy your football, enjoy your turkey. And what's special about Thanksgiving is the time to get together with family. So my kids are back from college, and hanging out with them tonight, and it's just a lot of fun. Although I have to tell you, Clobberin times, my son made a bet on the LSU Alabama game that one of them would have to bleach their hair,
and he lost.
He lost. He lost.
Wow! Somebody actually took LSU. I would have bet. I thought LSU was going to lose that game.
Yeah. So his buddy took LSU.
Looks like Alabama. Looks like Cowboys are going to trounce the Giants, according to Steve. Cowboys, they blew out the Vikings. I mean, they're looking real deal right now, but
the Giants looked horrible last week.
Less than the Lions, but again, that's always a tough game, though, and it's going to be in Dallas. But you never know.
You never know.
This will tell you what your season's going to be, though. I'll tell you that. What the rest of it's going to be. Ezra. What do I think of Mysterious Planet from Trial of Time? I actually like Mysterious Planet. I think that's a good and underrated episode. It's kind of fun. I love Colin. And I love the Trial of the Time Lord stuff. There's some weird, crazy stuff in it that I didn't like, but I love that, especially mixed in with the whole trial part. So I'm one that actually does like a lot of Trial of a Time Lord. And I thought Mysterious Planet, which was the first episode of those, was really good. And yes, Dalek will definitely talk some Red Dwarf one of these days. I love Red Dwarf hugely. Great stuff. So tomorrow night, folks, hopefully our wonderful first officer Raquel will be here for the Clobby's Clubhouse. Let's see how Donnie says, I may be a Seattle Seahawks fan, but I will always be a Dallas Cowboy fan at heart. 2 teams. That's strange. Gee, I miss Texas and my native Oklahoma. Oh, I hear you. Well, Seahawks are they're playing. I'm surprised the way Geno Smith is playing.
Well, he's my fantasy QB now.
I'm shocked at how well he's playing. But
what a revival of his career. He had never had a career. I mean, other than the first couple of years with the Jets.
Incredible.
And then he got punched in the locker room over $600, broke his jaw, and lost his starting job. So,
yikes!
But he's been playing great. Yeah,
playing great. Absolutely, isn't so everybody. And then there's the Clubhouse tomorrow night. Then of course there's this Saturday for Saturday Night Star Trek. The season 3 wrap party, season 3 Deep Space Nine wrap party. We'll review the final 2 episodes of the season, and then we'll do an overview of the season, our top 5 or 3, whatever you want to say, and bottom 5 or bottom 3, however you want to do it.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. I should be on with Nick and the Comic Shop guys on Friday night, and again, but tomorrow night, even though it's Thanksgiving night, the Clubhouse is open. So why not?
Yeah. So I'll see what's happening with family. So hopefully I'll be able to pop in. Same thing with Saturday Night Star Trek. So maybe later I'll be there. We'll see.
Oh yeah, if you can, you can. We
Yeah,
always want to have you for sure.
If I miss you guys, have a great time. Yep.
Yep. Like I said, we hope you can make it, but I know you got family stuff to handle, so we get
But
you
usually
there.
everyone goes to bed early anyway, so
Yeah, it's pretty late stuff.
Yeah, because you're 10 o'clock my time, so
yeah. Let's see. Yep, still 4 more before Voyager. Wow. Clobby, what is your opinion of the Sunmakers? Ezra, the Sunmakers is a classic. It's one of the, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all the episodes, and it's one of Tom's greatest. I love it. Great. And by the way, Michael Keating from Blake Sevens in that episode. But it's the Sunmakers is a great one in my opinion, Ezra. What a brilliant it's a great satire on the evil of taxation. And so there's Raquel's book is out there, folks. Please, I put the link in the chat and everything. Again, this video is still out there. This review, if any comics fans missed this, what a great time I had with J-Man doing this. And this is just the beginning of me delving into the wacky world of Bob Haney. You've not lived until you've read a Bob Haney funny book, man. I'm telling you. So thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. Thanks to our great wrenches, the great Eric K, Bronze Wrencher. Appreciate you, buddy. The great Chris Persia, the Vindicator Wrench of the North, who had the run. And of course, D-Bud. Thank you, D-Bud, brother. The Wrench of Iron. Good to see you, buddy. And thank you all so much for being here. Happy Doctor Who Day to you all, and happy Thanksgiving to you tomorrow. Some friends who popped in that I had not seen before. Sadaku, thank you for being here. Dalek, hey, Dalek 451, buddy, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate you. Alejandro Flores Ibarra, thank you. And Ezra Goldstein, thank you. There's some Doctor Who fans. It's always great to have Doctor Who fans pop in and hang out with us. I need to do more Doctor Who stuff. Simply Steve, good to see you, buddy. Donnie Pearson, thank you. Phantom Outsider was here. Thank you. JT Kirk, buddy. Thank you so much. That great J-Man was here earlier. Pleasant Valley Picker, thank you so much for being here. Could not be reached for further comment. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you for commenting.
Indeed. Yes. Thank you for all the comments and everything. You guys were fantastic tonight. Who else popped in? Let me find them all because it's Thanksgiving. Let's be thankful. I got to be doing this. Of course, we'll do it tomorrow as well. But your Muslim uncle, again, prayers to you. Good luck to your mother, my friend.
God bless. Yep.
Yeah. Bless your mother. And Mega Chris, thank you for popping in. Good to see you. Gwagnar was here. Thanks, Gwagnar. That 70s rock fan popped in earlier. And Captain Infinity, thank you guys for popping in. Yeah. Good to see you all. Let's see. Matthew Pounder, my buddy. Thank you for being here, sir. Stephen M., the great Kal-El was here. Appreciate you, buddy. Let's make sure we got everybody because that's how we roll around here. Well, that's how we roll up and hill.
Got to time travel back in the chat.
Yes, I'm time traveling through the chat, folks, through the endless corridors of time and space. Because see, I think I got everybody, but don't I always think I got everybody?
It happens, and then sometimes
what happens every time I think I got everybody.
And then boom, then someone else pops in, and then you're like, oh crud, because you don't want to miss anyone. Yeah.
Yep, I don't want to miss anybody, and I think I got everybody. Oh, Michelle O'Rourke Johansson, thank you for popping in, my dear. I hope you're doing well. Vamping music while I'm scrolling to see who else is here. Brian Hepburn. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight, buddy. I keep getting texted. Sorry. In case you guys could hear me getting texted. I didn't thank the sex bots. Should I thank them?
Well, hopefully they like the show too.
Wolfie. Thank you, Wolfie, for being here, Wolfie. Yep. Our great friend Retro Blasting. See how my memory works? It's so terrible. Michael, if you're still out there, brother, appreciate you.
Yeah.
I forget everything. You know that. And if I don't check it, I'm going to forget it. My short-term memory sucks, and also my short-term memory sucks.
And then Eric K has. I know you're scrolling through the chat. Eric K
Yeah, I'll
just
get
had a
back.
$5, but he says message retracted. So, and then he sent it
really?
again. So, I don't know what the retracted message was, but if you want to read that.
Gonzalo Bergali, and this is, of course, a new member, because thank you for gifting those. Eric, thank you so much. I'll be right back to that message in a second. Hungry Boy was here.
Hey, Hungry Boy. Yep.
You had to run, I think, but Hungry Boy, thanks for being here, buddy. See, you got to check. Yes, you never know. One of these days, I'll start writing it down again. I mean, like I do on Saturday nights. Here. Dad, man, what's up, buddy? Hope you and all of yours are going to have a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow. Ironcaster popped in. Ironcaster, buddy. The great Lord Thoth was here. See, if I had listened to you, I would not checked, and I would have not known.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm blaming you. Avon lives.
Because I always get blamed.
That's true. Skogly Joe Toon was here as well. Skogly, thank you for being here with us tonight. Almost. Wow, man. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I think there's so many. I think we got everybody. I'm gonna go. Let's play a game here. I'm gonna bet that we got everybody. What are you betting? Are you agreeing, or are you betting against me?
I'm not betting dyeing my hair. What little I have left, but
if you lose,
Steve.
Yes,
Simply Steve. Yep.
If you lose, you got to dye your hair. So tell me now, did I get everybody, or did I miss somebody?
You said Guagno, right?
I don't cheat. Just make your bet right now.
No, I think you got everyone. Well,
wrong. You lose. Classic Comics. I forgot him. But that was good.
I didn't want to make a bet.
Yeah, but I cheated there because I already knew I hadn't. It's not like I didn't know either. So you can't. I cheated you on that one. So it's a foul, folks. It goes a neutral foul. It's offset penalties.
Yep.
So let's see. I guess that's
it. Yeah. So Eric K sent that super chat twice. Like I said, did you read that? Right?
No, I'll get it in a second. I got to get down to the end. I'll be right there, Eric. All right. If I missed anybody else, I think I checked them all, folks. If I missed anybody else, I am terribly sorry. But I think everybody's here who was here at this game here. So thank you all so much. You'll see Eric K. Oh, now I can't find it. Oh, there he goes. It says there are two of them. That's weird.
Yeah, because that one, I think he meant to say obviously Thanksgiving. These stupid little keyboards. Yep.
Probably missed the old days of Thanksgiving with a pterodactyl on the BBQ. Yes. Probably misses the old days of pterodactyl. You didn't have to do it twice, buddy. You certainly didn't have to do it as a super chat, but thank you for sure.
Yep. Thank you, Eric. Yep. Yeah. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Indeed, JT. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so.
Oh, I just want to mention real quick too. Yes, we'll have obviously Sunday Night Geekery will be on this week.
Oh yes, of course, we'll be there.
And I boomered Nick's Toxic Tuesday.
I did. Damn it!
And that was fun hanging out with you and Culture and all the guys in the 70s. And I did a slideshow for the Man with the Golden Gun.
I guess we better review that one night.
Instead of Goldfinger. But next week I'm pretty sure it's Diamonds Are Forever. And I'd fixed my Bond car, so I got to do a little my Corgi. I got the
Thunderball
ejectors.
I'm going to keep reminding you of that. It's Thunderball next week, and then it's Diamonds Forever the week after.
Oh, well, thank you. I thought it was Diamonds Are Forever. All right, so he's going in order.
Double check with Nick.
I'm double checking with Nick.
Yeah, but he's skipping. If he goes to Diamonds Are Forever after that, he'll be skipping. He'll be skipping You Only Live Twice.
Yeah, so all right.
But don't worry, just worry about the one in hand, and that's Thunderball.
Yeah.
Your boy Joe's Atmosphere will not appreciate not doing Thunderball. He's the one looking forward to that. So.
He looks forward to that one, yeah. So I did fix my Corgi there. I got the glue out, and I fixed the ejector seat. I was very happy it worked again. So
Corgi, James Bond, Aston Martin.
Yeah, cool. So the seat had snapped off. It's plastic. Yep.
Nice. Let's see, we'll get to it. Good night, Wagner, buddy. Now that's cool. Just taking the Aston Martin for a spin, Q.
There we go. Now Bond is safe. Yeah.
No, never say never again, says Alejandro. I don't know if he's going to review it or not, but I like that movie. I'm weird though. All right, everybody. Thank you again so much. Appreciate you, and have a wonderful remainder of your evening. Take care, everyone. Oops.
It's Clobberin time.
And we won't play in the credits this time. We'll simply say thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Celebrate some Doctor Who and celebrate some Clobberin, and some Thanksgiving too. And have a great Turkey Day to all my friends who celebrate it, and to all of our wonderful friends across the pond that do not, or friends in Canada who are not. Well, thank you for being here, and just go watch some Doctor Who. Good night, everybody.
I just love clobbering time.